Still a butthole on my screen. Gotta get rid of that. Can't have buttholes on your screen when you start streaming. Hang on.
What are you doing?
The opener.
Right. Funny stuff.
Uh-huh. It's just YouTube hates it when you first open a video, especially when you're streaming.
Yeah.
Stanley really wants to show you his Easter outfit. He is completely ready for the Easter egg hunt. For God's sakes, I wasn't calling you
angry.
I said egg hunt. Not a cunt. Happy Easter, I guess. And a very happy 4th of July from Michael.
They're just spitting all over each other.
So festive.
Do you like it here? So don't yell at me, but I drink the tap water, and then over the weekend, my boyfriend's mom reprimanded me, chastised me. She's like, "This is why you're bloated, because you're drinking the tap water."
No, it's not that bad. It's healthy. It's drinkable. It just doesn't taste great.
Then why do people put it through the filter?
For the taste? I don't know. Minerals, maybe caught up in your pipes, stuff like that.
I'm a very cheap date. I'm a tap water girl. I don't care.
Tap?
I got yelled at this weekend. She's like, no, you need to filter that water.
I think she put that on.
Surprising producer there.
A little bit.
Milk.
He's got lovely
Milk.
shoulders, doesn't he?
Milk truck just arrived.
I mean, hold on. He had no idea we were on.
No.
Wait, why? No, listen to me, anchors.
We were discussing.
I didn't see only news.
It happens to the best of us, right, Jenny? Hi, Jenny.
Oh, no, now she's turning her back on us. Everyone's turning their back on us.
I was gonna say, why does this happen? Because we don't have a floor director.
we have robots.
Yes,
Jenny.
lots of robots.
Hey, watermelon can be the perfect refreshing snack. Didn't we do this story
Yes, we
3
did.
weeks ago?
We did. Okay, but maybe
Is
there's
this the
something more.
Tell me, what's the follow-up?
Let's see. Let's the latest food trend taking TikTok by storm, and everyone seems to be getting in on the unusual combination, including performer and singer Lizzo. No, this is old. Yeah.
Great. Awesome, Jenny.
But I'm, Jackie, in no doubt
Jack
at all
Dalloway.
about your responsibility in this. And 2 million of us on the streets of London told you so at the time. And for you now to try and wash your hands of your share of the responsibility, I'm afraid that's a spot that will not out. All the perfumes of Arabia will not expand.
Why are there British people on the
All
screen?
your poetry, George,
This is so
doesn't
funny.
prevent people from being murdered and massacred in Iraq and Syria at the moment. I'm not washing my hands of what happened in the
You
past.
killed a
That is
million
separate-
people in Iraq.
That is a separate.
You killed 1 million people in Iraq. It's
You see her roll her
incredible that you
eyes?
have
Yep.
the brass neck to be sitting here now urging another Iraq war
George,
after
if
what
I was
you've
still
already
in
done.
Parliament, I would be there tomorrow, living up to my responsibility to answer the call of the Iraqi government and people to help to support them. And the fact that you aren't is something that you will have to live with.
Let me ask a final question to you, George. If not bombing, if not intervention, how do we deal with this cancer?
Give Iraq the weapons that it's already paid for but haven't been delivered. Strengthen the Peshmerga. Strengthen the governments of Iraq and Syria, and ask Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Iran to fight this battle. It's their battle, not ours.
On March 22nd.
Okay, chill out, Danny.
Interesting opinion.
It's funny because parts of that were right, but all it was give Iran more power.
Yes. Yeah.
Welcome to Democracy Now!
She's just,
DemocracyNow.org,
she's just so
the
pure
one.
and innocent. She has no idea.
Peace report. I'm Amy Goodman. The
The
Israeli
war on
military has ended its 2-week siege of El Shifa's hospital. leaving Gaza's largest medical complex in ruins. The World Health Organization says at least 21 patients died since the siege began. Authorities in Gaza said the Israeli military killed more than 400 Palestinians, including medical workers and children, and destroyed over 1,000 homes around the hospital. Israel accused Hamas of using the hospital for military purposes. On Sunday,
Are we watching the whole thing, or we just skip into the stories?
Yeah, why not? You don't have any other
airstrike hit a tent
headline
encampment outside
Yeah, because Reuters hasn't released theirs.
of Al-Aqsa Martyrs Hospital in Deir al-Balah. The attack killed 4 people and injured 17 others, including 7 journalists. The BBC reports the tent closest to the explosion belonged to the Turkish news agency Anadolu. The Palestinian photographer Ali Hamad described the attack.
They hit the tent without any warning. We were staying in the tent as a group of journalists, peacefully, with no terrorist among us. We were preparing our cameras, and all of a sudden, the tent was hit. Everything went dark with debris and rocks flying.
Well, did you see the article I sent you? On Instagram. Israel killed an Australian and other aid workers when they hit a convoy.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
Above our heads, and there were flames.
In other news from Gaza, the Israeli newspaper Haaretz reports the Israeli military has created so-called kill zones inside Gaza, where Israeli troops kill anyone who crosses into the area. One reserve officer told the paper, quote, as soon as people enter it, mainly adult males, orders are to shoot and kill, even if that person is unarmed, unquote.
Epic.
The report comes days after Al Jazeera aired footage of 4
Whoa, hang on.
Pause.
I mean, it's not like they're ever going to monetize us. Hey, did you know that we're basically permanently demonetized by YouTube?
Oh, did they say that?
They won't even let us apply for it. Yeah.
Epic. Very cool. Thanks, YouTube.
Yeah. So help us fund our NGO. Go to that Patreon and get your name below. Just $1. One bone.
Please.
Go ahead. As they walked along the ruins near Khan Yunis. In an interview with Haaretz, one Israeli officer acknowledged the 4 men were killed, even though they, quote, didn't endanger our forces, unquote.
Oh, they didn't show
The
it.
Washington Post is reporting the Biden administration has recently authorized a transfer of billions of dollars in bombs and fighter jets to Israel. The arms package includes
Although at this point, if we are demonetized, fuck it. Right? At this point, fuck it.
Yeah,
let's just show people dying on stream. Fuck it.
Israel, YouTube hates journalism. They hate accurate journalism.
They hate actually covering atrocities.
No, because Hassan can do it just fine. Hassan
right.
can have Al Qaeda guys on, and they wouldn't give a shit.
I guess you have to just be bringing in money for them to
Yes,
care
it's
about you.
it's everything is an access and status issue.
Yeah.
include more than 1,800 Mk-84 2,000-pound bombs, which can be used to level entire city blocks. The U.S. is also sending 500 Mk-82 500-pound bombs and 25 F-35 fighter jets.
Well, like, of course you are.
On Sunday,
It's Gaza.
tens of
Yeah.
thousands rallied across Israel, calling for the removal of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in the largest protest since the October 7th attacks. In Jerusalem, police fired skunk spray at demonstrators blocking the major highway. The protesters called for a ceasefire and the release of all hostages. This is Zahira Shahamor, whose elderly uncle has been held in Gaza for nearly 6 months.
Today we declared that Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister Netanyahu, is the obstacle between us and getting our hostages back. And we will relentlessly fight, legally of course, to have him removed from power and get someone else that can do the job and worthy of the situation to bring our beloved ones back. Until then, Benjamin Netanyahu is the main obstacle.
As calls mount for his resignation, Benjamin Netanyahu is now recovering after undergoing a hernia operation on Sunday night. In other news from Israel, police have arrested the sister of Hamas's political leader Ismail Haniyeh, Sabah Haniyeh, who is an Israeli citizen, was detained in the Israeli town of Tel Sheva. Palestinians marked Land Day across the occupied territories and across the globe on Saturday. The day commemorates the 1976 deaths of 6 Palestinians protesting the seizure of their property by Israel. Hundreds of Palestinians rallied in Ramallah and the occupied West Bank. This is Majid Al-Masri, Minister of Social Affairs of the Palestinian National Authority.
The Palestinian people are united in their struggle for the land, which started on Land Day in the Galilee and in the Nakba,
I wonder
but has now spread all over the country.
if they took this from another network that already did the voiceover, if Democracy Now! Has their own like translators on staff.
Yeah, I wonder.
I think for Arabic it would be worth it, just how much they cover United States imperialism.
Yeah.
Because I know they have a full Spanish team.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, being an American company, you should have Spanish divisions, I feel like.
Yeah, the co-host.
It's just natural.
The co-host she has, I think, like broadcast in Spanish.
I mean, that's the reason why I want to learn Spanish, because I'm like, if we're going to be based out of America and dealing with Spanish-speaking Latin and South America, why not? You know what I mean?
French too. That's where our we have the least amount of eyes. It is in former French territories.
Yeah. Yeah, French. Yeah, that'd be interesting. French isn't that hard to learn either. Maybe we just find someone that speaks French.
Real good. A lot of cinematographers work for French companies.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool because that would come in handy.
Normally,
I wouldn't have to learn. I wouldn't have to learn how to fucking do cinematography and shit.
Yeah, you normally hire a French guy if you're doing a documentary.
Oh, that's hilarious.
All our people and the free people of the world are all united in this struggle in support of our people in Gaza and the resistance in Gaza, which is for the protection of the land and the return of the rights of self-determination of the Palestinian people.
Solidarity protests were held across the globe over the
Sounds pretty
weekend.
nice to me. I don't know. Doesn't sound like they're asking for much.
They're not.
Including in London, where as many as 200,000 people took to the streets. Here in New York City, organizers say 30,000 people came out for a massive Land Day protest. Elsewhere, students at Smith College in Massachusetts have entered their sixth day occupying.
Well, I mean, that's what Netanyahu set up.
Are calling on
right? Because like we know that basically the war had to continue for Netanyahu to stay in power, but the war continuing, it is also him losing power. It's an ultimatum that he has to struggle. It's literally Donald Trump, though. Just to stay out of prison this is what he's doing.
And the school from weapons manufacturers.
What?
Imagine what Trump will do to stay out of prison.
Oh yeah. It's going to be much worse.
Protest is being led by the Smith chapter of Students for Justice in Palestine. Pope Francis marked Easter Sunday by reiterating his plea for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza.
I appeal once again that access to humanitarian aid be ensured to Gaza and call once more for the prompt release of the hostages seized on last October 7th and for an immediate.
What do you think, the lizard people are
not allow the current hostilities to continue to have grave repercussions on the civil population, by now at the limit of its endurance, and above all on the children. How much suffering we see in children's eyes. Those children in that land of war have forgotten how to smile.
While the Pope called for peace, a Republican Congress member has publicly suggested Gaza should be bombed, quote, like Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Michigan Congressmember Tim Walberg made the comment during a recent town hall.
We shouldn't be spending a dime on humanitarian aid. It should be like Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Get it over quick.
Oh my God.
After facing widespread criticism for calling for the atomic bombing of Gaza, Congressmember Tim Walberg, who's a former pastor, issued a statement claiming he was not advocating for the use of nuclear weapons in Gaza. In Lebanon, 3 UN military observers and a Lebanese translator were injured Saturday in an explosion near the border with Israel. Security sources in Lebanon told Reuters Israel was behind the attack, but Israel denied the claim. Meanwhile, Israel has assassinated a Hezbollah commander named Ismail Al-Zin in a targeted drone strike in southern Lebanon.
That's not an assassination.
In campaign news, Donald Trump has posted a video on social media that includes an image of President Biden hogtied in the back of a pickup truck. A spokesperson for Biden's campaign said, quote, Trump is regularly inciting political violence, and it's time people take him seriously. Just ask the Capitol police officers who were attacked for
also, yeah, literally Al-Qaeda shit. Like,
was he gray wolfing out the window?
Let's see.
People take him seriously. Just ask the Capitol police officers who were attacked protecting our
what is the hand gesture he was doing?
It was just a thumbs up.
Oh, okay.
Also, fucking thin blue line flag, cringe.
On January 6th.
Oh, no shit. All those people are cringe. The fucking flag trucks. The biggest trucks they can find and putting flags all over them and shit.
All the flags, yeah. It's very cringe.
Justice Juan Machon, who's hearing Trump's hush money case. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg has asked for a gag order on Trump to be expanded to include the judge and his family. In Turkey, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's ruling party has suffered historic losses in local elections as the secular opposition Republican People's Party won mayoral races in Turkey's 5 largest cities, including the capital Ankara. In Istanbul, Ekrem İmamoğlu won re-election with more than 51%, cementing his role as a possible future challenger to Erdogan.
Northern Kurdistan also, like the more pro PKK-ish side of their electorate won.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
The one that's not like peace with Turkey, the one that's like leave Turkey.
Well, I mean,
you know,
look, if Turkey's been attacking them, I'm not surprised.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not surprised at all. And if Turkey wants to escalate, it
so
seems like they're playing game.
Although the last like presidential elections, Erdogan, I think Erdogan's last term anyway, so I don't think he can fall from power. But we're also talking about parliamentary limitations, even in places like Turkey. He may have overridden the judicial, but the parliamentarian is still there in theory. So the secular, non-gray wolf opposition, you know, while we're still talking about, because it's just like with us, it's not so much true right now, but historically how close the two sides of the coin are in the American politics, right, between Republicans and Democrats. There's not been much different. Even Hillary was anti-gay marriage and abortion at one point.
Yes.
Or like she was pro-abortion or something, but they would make things like, they would make the statements like, I don't know. Either way.
Safe, legal, and rare.
Yeah, stuff like that.
That's one that I used to
you know, but it used to be like that. So the secular opposition to Erdogan, it's not like it's that much different. Don't expect mass change to come out of Turkey.
Yeah, like they're not going to stop attacking the PKK.
It's the equivalent of us having Trump in power, but still having a blue legislator to limit his authority.
Which is best case scenario if he wins, is to have blue Senate, blue Congress.
Mm-hmm.
Which may happen. They may get Biden the fuck out, but vote blue everywhere else. That may happen. And then Trump just gets angrier and angrier in fucking office, and it becomes hysterical. While nothing gets passed. That would be fucking hysterical.
The nation itself gives the order and the instructions, not just one person. Officials receive instructions from the nation. The period of one-man rule is over as of today. It is done. The Republican democracy go full speed ahead from now on.
Armed police raided the home of the Peruvian president Dina Boluarte as part of a corruption probe dubbed Rolexgate. The deeply unpopular interim president has been accused of acquiring more than a dozen luxury watches over the past 3 years. She's denied any wrongdoing and has rejected calls to resign.
You know how strict Rolex is over their watches?
Oh, really?
Yeah. You need you literally have to sign a contract that you're not going to resell the watch.
No shit.
It's not like literally like that, but it's about that strict. Like if you're flipping Rolexes and stuff, they'll basically blacklist you from the entire purchase catalog list. You won't be able to purchase any of their watches.
Crazy.
Because the resale price is more than the sales price on Rolex.
Really? That's insane.
Yeah, so you can buy it and flip it for more money. So and one of the reasons why it's like that is because they're so protective of their watches.
That makes sense. It kind of sounds like Ferrari. Ferrari, they don't really let you buy Ferraris. Like, you can't just be any wanker and rock up at a Ferrari dealer and buy a Ferrari. You have to have owned a pre-owned Ferrari beforehand before you buy one, because you have to prove that you are in their standards and you can't modify their cars. And
that's luxury shit for you.
Badges. Like, fuck you.
That's how high on the brands are. They can make those kinds of demands on the customer and clientele.
No, I understand, right? But at this point, right, if I'm seriously looking at a Ferrari at like $800,000, I could easily go to Porsche or Lamborghini with the same money and drive away the same day. Like, why the fuck would I stay with and go and get a Ferrari? Like, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same with Rolex. Fuck yourself. I'll just go somewhere else. Fine. Like, I don't understand why people give such a shit about this status and like symbols and shit on cars. Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah, you need like
It's so
you need to
stupid.
know like a Rolex guy.
Yeah, my friend used to sell Richard Mille watches, which ugliest fucking watches I've ever seen. They are disgusting, but they're like hundreds of thousands of dollars. And they're very similar. I don't think they're as exclusive as like Rolex, but it's still an absurd industry for something that tells the time, and something that's a fraction of the cost is way more useful.
Still,
Like,
if she's like flipping Rolexes and has Rolexes involved in her corruption, that's like flipping gold bars like Menendez.
that is true. That is very funny. What
That's
country
kind
is
of the
it?
point. Peru.
Peru. Oh, fucking hell. Okay.
December 2022, after Pedro Castillo was ousted from office. Yesterday marked the 15th annual
That's awesome.
International
What an awesome
Transgender Day
story.
of Visibility. President Biden
Big
issued a
on Chris.
proclamation, quote, honoring the extraordinary courage and contributions of transgender Americans and recognizing March 31st as Transgender Day of Visibility. Biden has
Transgender Day.
recognized the date every year since taking office, but Republican lawmakers and Trump attacked Biden for the move since the holiday coincided this year with Easter Sunday. Amidst a Republican crackdown on their rights, trans and non-binary communities led rallies at state houses across the country Sunday to celebrate trans joy and demand equitable
Let's
rights.
go, Amy.
Elsewhere, activists in Mexico City
I
were
think
met with
she
riot
still
police
says
and tear
Latinx,
gas
though.
as they marched to demand
Oh, that's kind of cringe.
a law protecting the rights of transgender people. This is
With
Jennifer
kinks.
Rodriguez.
We want respect for our human rights. We don't want to be discriminated
That's a
against when we
look.
apply for a job. We want the medical assistance we deserve. We
I
want
mean,
to
they
be
are
able to
out
get a house and all the
protesting.
benefits free
Yeah.
marriage provides. We don't want to
They're
be killed only
parading
for
and
being
stuff.
different.
Yeah,
We
go
don't want
hard.
sex work to be our one unique option to survive. While the government doesn't provide all these, we want our integral trans law that gives us the right to express our identity and change our gender and make hormonal changes when we come to legal age.
In other news from Mexico, authorities are
She's still
investigating the
filming a
deaths of 8
TikTok
Chinese
in the background.
Huh? I was looking at the background. Yeah, somebody had a
filming a
Integral
TikTok
trans
in the
law that gives us the
background.
right
Oh, that's
to
what they're
express our
doing? Well, I
identity.
don't. She's got a caboose. You know?
100% they are.
She's got a caboose, so that's what I was looking at.
And change our gender and make hormonal changes when we come to legal age.
They're all doing the
In
same
other
dance.
news
They're
from Mexico,
100%
authorities are
doing a
investigating the
TikTok.
deaths of 8 Chinese nationals after their bodies were found on a beach in the southern state of Oaxaca
Oh
Saturday.
shit.
One
Oaxaca?
survivor of the shipwreck says the boat departed from
shipwreck?
Tapachula, a border city with Guatemala, which is a common departure point for migrants hoping to reach the U.S.
Oh
border.
shit.
In California, many fast food workers are getting a big raise. Beginning today, all fast food chains in California must pay workers at least $20 an hour.
Holy
And
shit.
the pioneering actor Lou Gossett Jr. has died at the age of 87.
That's a wild fucking pay raise. That's
For
crazy.
California, that's fine though.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. That'll actually probably make that a semi-workable wage. And it would be like a pretty good part-time job now.
More than
like
I've ever
pay-wise.
made.
That's fucking hell.
In 1983, he became the first Black performer to win an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for his role in An Officer and a Gentleman. He was also the founder of the Racism Foundation, which aimed to...
What do you mean? What? Having it tough? How?
I mean, they just died.
When? What?
Chinese nationals just washed up on the beach in Oaxaca.
Oh, is that the only case? Like, is there more?
No, I mean, they're dying all the time. It's a hard fucking route.
I
to
thought
erase
just Chinese
racism.
specifically.
And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman.
Thanks, Amy.
What does your family do?
There it goes. Add a sniffy McAdderall.
Wait a minute. He said that didn't happen. He said he didn't do it. So
Hang on.
let's
We
raise
got to
this
go
question.
back and
Either
throw on
he's not being-
subtitles to hear the reporter's actual question because it's so funny. They placed this guy here to ask this dumbass question.
What does your family do yesterday? And what do you make of President Biden's redubbing of the holiday as transgender day? Wait a minute. He said that didn't happen. He said he didn't.
Redubbing. Yeah, that's not a genuine question.
He said it didn't happen. He said it didn't happen.
That's one of the most disingenuous questions.
This is a
from
press
journalists
conference
I've
on
ever seen.
tolls.
Great.
Lowering tolls. And they still gave him this.
Yeah, this was definitely a plan.
Do it. So, which raises the question: either he's not being honest with the public, or he really didn't know what was going on. And so, my question would be: who's running the presidency? Is it a bunch of woke 20-something-year-old White House staffers that just put out this dribble whenever they want? So I don't know who's in charge. The fact that he's not owning up to it, I don't. Either way, it's bad. Either he's not being honest, or he really didn't have anything to do with it. But
That's very ironic coming from you clowns.
We had a big Easter egg hunt. I mean, kids were didn't even change when they got back from church. They went in. They found a lot of Easter eggs, and it was like a massive amount. I told my wife, I said, that's a lot. And so they did that, and they were running around.
There's like a lot of noisy kids here.
We had a nice meal. We did all that. So then we get into later in the day. No naps. Just keep going.
No naps, guys.
And I'm just like,
hardcore.
Keep up.
I didn't need a nap.
We had a good.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
It's an important. The most important.
Wani is angry. Wani wants food.
Calendar.
Wani wants his fish fingers.
Wani didn't need a nap. He went straight from Easter. He went from church to Easter egg hunting. No nap.
Circulated on the internet sometimes.
I didn't even get my chicken nuggies.
I think it was from like the 1950s. I think it was Good Friday, and you had the buildings lit up with crosses. It was like big crosses, and that was not done, I don't think, by government. I think it was just done by companies or whoever was managing and doing that. Now, you would not see that.
Do the acronyms start with K?
Like that. So it shows you kind of. I think the people that are gravitating to what Biden's doing, that is ultimately, a type of religion that they're trying to advance in this society.
Okay, transness is a religion.
For the same values that founded.
Okay, so that means it's tax exempt. If you're trans, you don't get taxed on anything.
No trans person has to pay tax. It's tax exempt status.
Some conservative media figures are furious with the Biden administration, again, this time accusing the White House of banning religious themes from its Easter egg decorating contest. Fox News and the Daily Caller drew attention to this year's event flyer, which says eggs, quote, must not include any questionable content, religious symbols, overtly religious themes, or partisan political statements. These outlets say that Biden wanted to scrap any religious symbols. But there's a problem. The restrictions predate the Biden administration. Per the White House and American Egg Board, First Lady's Communications Director Elizabeth Alexander took to X posting, quote, FYI, on all the misleading swirl.
American Egg Board?
American Egg Board flyers, standard non-discrimination language requesting artwork has been used for the last 45 years across all Dem and Republican administrations for all White House Easter egg rolls, including previous administrations.
We have been fighting the war on Easter for half a century. But true or not, this isn't the only backlash the Biden administration has gotten. Critics also called out the White House for proclaiming Transgender Day of Visibility on Easter Sunday. Biden sent out a tweet saying that on Transgender Day of Visibility, I have a simple message to all trans Americans. I see you. You are made in the image of God, and you're worthy of respect and dignity. Now, this sent some on the right spiraling. Fox News Digital compiled a list of trans-related events the Biden White House has marked on its calendars. According to the outlet, it has celebrated at least 7 other holidays celebrating the LGBTQ plus community, including National Coming Out Day in October, Lesbian Day of Visibility in April, International Day Against Homophobia, Transphobia, and Biphobia in May, Pride Month in June, Spirit Day in October, Intersex Awareness Day also in October, and Transgender Day of Remembrance in November.
Jesus,
Caitlyn Jenner
that's got to be like the gayest shit I've ever heard ever.
Biden over the Trans Day of Visibility declaration, writing on X, I am absolutely disgusted that Joe Biden has declared the most holy of holy days, a self-proclaimed devout Catholic, as Transgender Day of Visibility. The only thing you should be declaring on this day is he is risen. Now, for the Transgender Day of Visibility, it's a little bit like the egg thing too, in that it was declared previous. So Biden did declare it in 2021.
Nightmare.
He declared March 31st, whatever, yes, March 31st as the day. It just so happens Easter moves around that Easter happens to fall on that day.
Oh my God.
Let's not bury the lead there. This was a huge hullabaloo on the internet with people
like, I love it. Like, this is like me being satisfied by her being tortured, even though she's getting the bag and that's why she's doing this. Like, she doesn't give a shit. She already does everything to get the bag anyway, but come on.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we're doing it too, but mainly because it's funny that everyone's taking this so seriously.
Like, as soon as I heard this, I'm just like, oh, did the day fall on the same day?
Yeah, we don't need to hear their conversation. Then we can move on.
Yeah, like, immediately I was like, it just fell on the same day, huh?
Of course it did. What do you expect from these idiots?
Yeah.
Bro, I gotta prepare you. This is really funny. There's a really funny thing in this egg roll, and I'm gonna see if you laugh at it the way I did when I looked at this earlier.
Okay. I'm just doing the Instagram post and I'll tag you in it once it's up. Okay. Where am I looking? Just keep watching?
Oh, you'll know. If
Okay.
it's in one of these.
Oh, is it the kids screaming? Not...
Happy Easter, everybody. I'm a teacher, so I love
This is way funnier.
Where am
Donald
I?
Trump do any of this? Have you seen Donald Trump pardoning the turkey?
Yes, I have seen that. I haven't seen him do Easter things though.
Great floral arrangement.
Yeah, they look like fake tulips though.
We're doing
Tulips
today.
are dreadful.
The South Lawn is transforming into our learning playground and school community. And there's so much to discover.
Well, we did everything, but we couldn't control the weather. Although Al Roker told me this morning it was going to get sunny. Folks, welcome to what's expected to be the biggest White House Easter egg roll ever.
I love the movie Kung Fu Panda.
Easter reminds us of the power of hope and renewal, sacrifice and resurrection, but mainly
Bro,
love.
look at his
grace
silly Easter
toward
egg
one
tie.
Wait, what?
He had a silly Easter
Oh my
egg tie.
God. That's so funny.
Grandpa put on his silly Easter egg.
Sure, let's just let Donald Trump come right into our home. Yeah, and I'm going to wash your beak now. Yeah, didn't think you'd be getting a free beak washing, did you, buddy?
No one up here is going to call you Donald Trump anymore. We're going to call you Donald Duck.
Okay, it's back. I love this kid in the blue. Like it. Okay, you got it, kid. You're cheating! Cheater! Cheater! Cheater! Cheater!
Distinguished guests.
No, come on.
I'm
There's
not
more.
watching the whole video.
No, but bro, it's so funny. Kids trying to roll the eggs and failing and crying. That's hysterical. Okay, don't rob me of my joy of seeing children cry.
Distinguished guests, the President of the United States and Dr. Biden,
Now remember,
accompanied by
the Republicans
official
are
White
mad
House
that Easter was replaced.
Mm-hmm.
Does this look like it's replacing Easter?
It's very transy.
What, this?
It's very gay. Yeah, look,
Easter is gay.
The
It's about a
balloons
bunny
are
rabbit.
the rainbow colors. Look, the balloons are rainbow
Those
colors.
are
It's very
Easter
gay.
colors.
It's
They're
so gay.
spring colors.
It's gay.
Damn, bro, that's got to be like the gayest shit
Yeah,
I've
it's a
ever
fucking
heard.
holiday
ever.
for children about a magical rabbit that lays eggs. Magical
Chocolate
colored eggs.
Easter bunnies.
Did they say the presidential Easter bunnies?
Yeah. I think they did.
This is a real country, by the way.
Welcome to the White House Easter egg roll. Happy Easter, everybody.
I don't care. Where are the kids?
This is a core memory being built. There's guards, Marine Corps guys in uniform and everything.
Look at the goobers in the band. Their red coats. Cringe. That's the Biden rabbit. He's got dementia too.
It's Easter. It's a secular holiday about a rabbit.
Turn the microphone on, Granddad.
All right, here we go, kids. Do your egg roll.
He's gonna spit his teeth out when he blows the whistle.
See, I just want to point out all the ones that are making the mistake. It's clearly in the hand-eye coordination. They're holding the spoon wrong.
The girl in the yellow.
It started and the little boy just launched his egg across the finish line instantly.
That's the exact technique I'd use. Just launch it straight across the finish
you can't
line.
look. Biden bent down to pick up this thing to help this kid. And we're going to talk about this guy falling down, can't be capable and stuff. Come on, look at him. Look at how spry this guy is.
Look how far he yeeted that egg. He's very stumbly.
Yeah, it's not like this is easy for him, right? But it's not easy for the kid
you
either.
won't see this on Fox News.
You
Yeah, she's clapping as well. That's funny.
She doesn't want to shake his hand, so she's just taking it from him. Good recovery.
Nope,
she immediately threw it down. She's still upset.
She's happy. Biden doesn't care anymore. He's off to the next kid.
Yeah. All right, come on. We can't be seen crying anymore. Biden had to resolve this conflict. Look at him taking creepy pictures with the kids. Come on. What a beautiful country, am I right?
At least
Are the
he's not
bunnies
sniffing
Secret
them
Service?
time.
Most likely those bunnies have Uzis on them, yes. The Secret Service is known to be the bunnies and stuff like that, yes.
That's so funny.
I mean, it's not like you're going to have guns waving around with kids around, you know?
Yeah.
You got to make sure those guns are covered. That's why they use stuff like the Mac.
Now we got another egg race? Yeah. Yeah. Broke it. Yeah. Thanks, YouTube.
Can you believe?
Demonetizes and
Oh, look,
broke it.
look, is that a guy's wearing the pink Easter colored scarves? Or no, they're all women. Who's she trying to be? Jacqueline Kennedy? She's replacing Jacqueline Kennedy.
She's trying.
Look how many people are here, bro.
There's a lot of people. Here we go, the real race.
Think about this. Vladimir Putin would never, right?
No.
He's
You
too
would never see this
scared.
in Russia.
He's literally too scared to do something like this. Think about that. That's real strength. To be able to come out here and dance with a rabbit. You can see there's Secret Service back there.
This is true soft power.
Right? Like everyone else
this
has
is
to
what
bow and
people
worship the leader.
swim across the ocean to come to America for.
That crying kid moment is shit they set up for propaganda
And here you can
narratives
talk
in
to him
other countries
on
where
the
the
same
president,
ground.
where they set up a crying kid for the president to comfort in other countries, you know? Like that just happens.
Yes. Yeah.
This is why America number one. You show me. Does anyone care about the British role? What are they doing at Easter? Probably some weird
No,
pot.
actually, you know what's really cool in I think it's England is they have this like street party and there's like this ball that they just have a massive street brawl over, and whoever ends up the last one with the ball wins.
And then
It's
there's
just
the
a street
Philippines
brawl.
where they be crucifying a guy for reals. Hammers ends the nails.
I'm gonna look that up. I need to remember the name of this.
Can we just imagine this bunny pulling out an Uzi or a Mac 10?
Yeah, okay. So it's called the Atherstone Ball Game. You're not allowed to kill anyone, but that's the only rule. Basically,
Okay. That doesn't sound cute at all.
it sounds fucking hilarious. The winner is declared at 5 p.m. Whoever has possession at 5 p.m. wins. And that's all it is. That's British culture.
best country.
Well, recognize it another day, not on Easter Sunday. It's an affront to the Bible.
Jesus centered the marginalized. He centered the poor.
He is risen. And by he, I mean me, waking up to shoot this video. So over the weekend was Easter and Trans Visibility Day, falling on the same days. Or I should say Easter falling on Trans Visibility Day. As every year, Trans Visibility Day for the past 15 years has fallen on or is on March 31st.
Yep.
Easter moves around. So Easter is determined by the first full moon of spring, which can fall anytime between March 22nd and April
because
25th.
it's an equinox.
And it just so
thing.
happened this year it fell on the same day as Trans Visibility Day, which of course set off a massive meltdown on the right because
and now it's even less of one. Now it's just a corporate reason to sell you shit chocolate in the shape of eggs for absurd prices.
Yeah, but
another opportunity to play victim.
There's a lawsuit about those eggs.
Oh, because they're hollow.
No, you don't remember? They sued him over the pumpkin Reese's because it didn't look like it was on the package.
Exactly, yeah. They should sue them over hollow eggs. Is what they should be suing over. Charging fucking $9 for a big hollow egg. Fuck yourself.
Victim. They're going to take that opportunity, and Republicans, of course, latched onto this. I'll get to some of that later on. And first, I want to showcase just how this has been recognized for the past few years with Biden as president here. This is
cool. Thanks, YouTube.
Gigabit internet, huh?
Biden saying on
YouTube.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's YouTube. I've had no connection issues so far.
Day of visibility. We want you to know that we see you just as you are. And this was on.
It's even
last year,
auto playing on high definition.
March.
This is YouTube.
I know.
31st. Same message.
That's what I was
2 years
saying.
ago.
Yeah.
To everyone celebrating Transgender Day of Visibility. There you go. 2022. And this is this year. Transgender Day of Visibility. This year. There we go. Confused?
Just proving the point now.
Not very confusing. Well, fuck.
Let's speed it up.
You were showcasing.
There we go.
So this gets to a variety of reactions. I'm just grabbing a few here. We're talking like,
oh my god.
I don't give a fuck because Twitter's not a real place.
Yeah, but they're really winning the war on ad block.
Yeah, really, truly winning. Wow.
a lot of Republicans, conservative propagandists out there, a lot of them latching onto this, either choosing not to acknowledge that it fell on, that Easter fell on Trans Visibility Day, or claiming that they should have moved the day, as if the existence of Trans Visibility Day is an affront to Christians. There are many Christians who are trans people as well, but they just can't fathom that. Here's Marjorie Taylor Greene. Biden and the Democrats decided Easter, the holy day of our Savior's resurrection, as Transgender Day of Visibility. There is no...
They really are that disingenuous, aren't they?
Like I've been saying,
like
it was
this is just
to be trans in 2017.
Yeah. Like it really is them just being either completely and utterly dumb or intentional malice.
Oh, I mean, Marjorie
At this
Taylor
point, it's
Greene's
one of the two. Intentional malice.
evil.
100%. Like it's intentional malice for sure. But is this what started the narrative? Her tweet?
No, I mean, come on. This narrative writes itself.
You reckon it was pre thought up?
No, I mean, come on. Who wouldn't see this coming if you're a Republican grifter? This is
no,
just
of course. Like,
it's
but
just.
Do you think that they planned it? They had like
no, I think it's a
shit
standalone
plan.
complex.
Interesting.
You know, I'm sure some people planned it.
Yeah. Interesting.
You think
Democrats
You think they recognized Trans Visibility Day before this? They probably never even paid it any mind.
Never heard about it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's funny how much this comes up. These standalone complex things. Where it's just like shit that happens because everyone has the same brain rot. It's really interesting. It's an interesting... Is it anthropological? Sociological view into their minds.
Like a mass hysteria.
Yeah, yeah. It's very, very interesting.
Go to mock your faith and to thumb his nose at God. We know that Christ is king and God will not be mocked. Just like we know Joe Biden isn't really the one calling the shots.
Bro, he's Catholic. What the fuck are you talking about?
He's literally one of the most religious presidents.
He's like a practicing Catholic.
Yeah, like Reagan didn't go to church.
That's so funny.
So what is it? Either Biden is doing this, putting or thumbing his nose at God, or someone else is doing it. In which case, you can't fault him if he's not the one in control.
And also, Protestants
why are you so
hate him more because he's Catholic, because he listens to the Pope, not God.
That's it's such an interesting thing to have an issue with.
Oh, yeah, you'll know when you're talking to like a Protestant background person when all they have to do is like you'll ask them questions like, who would you assassinate if you could assassinate someone? They'll immediately say the Pope. Stuff like that.
That's hilarious.
They'll be like, and the Catholic Church is responsible for touching kids and stuff, but they'll also they'll give a bunch of reasons and stuff, but it's really just because they're filthy prots.
Yeah.
So we can start killing the Protestants.
No, Michael, that's not what this is about.
so mad at him? But try to have both. Look at what she quotes here. But the Lord laughs at the wicked, for he knows their day is coming. You're telling on yourself here. The one accepting of trans people, of the marginalized, the ones that try to uplift them and ensure their rights are protected. And I'm not even saying that that's what Biden is doing, but regardless, the symbolism of lifting up trans people are not the ones that are the wicked.
You know what this reminds me? Trump, his Easter method, literally, I think Vosh might have pointed this out in one of his videos, because I might have, I think I vaguely remember someone else saying this, but Trump tweeted Christians and Catholics for his Easter thing. Which is like, well, no, it's a Protestant thing to say. Christians and Catholics, like associating Catholics as not being Christians.
That's pretty funny.
The people that are clearly working against the rights of trans people, culturally also working against them, trying to create this division, they're the ones that are the wicked clowns.
It's an old Klan argument.
Oh, look, a Dominionist. The Biden White House has betrayed the central tenet of Easter, which is the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Wrong. Banning sacred truth and tradition, sure, while at the same time proclaiming Easter Sunday as Transgender Day is outrageous and abhorrent. The American people are taking note. Sure, bro. Anybody with a brain is just like, oh, it fell on the same day.
So he's saying banning sacred truth and tradition is when they ban the religious eggs, right? Because it has to be a secular egg.
Mm-hmm. Because that makes sense in a secular country. But this guy's a psychotic.
It sounds counter. Well, Trump didn't make the tweet. Some fucking filthy prot on his staff did.
An actual Christian here. Here's Raphael Warnock, Senator Raphael Warnock, who actually understands the teachings of Jesus Christ.
The House Speaker called Biden's announcement abhorrent and said he betrayed the central tenet of Easter. What do you say to that?
Well, apparently the Speaker finds trans people abhorrent. And I think he ought to think about that. The fact of the matter is, as you said, March 31st has been a day to lift up transgender people who endure violence and bigotry.
Well,
Easter, the date changes every single day, but this is just one.
That was a truth. But it's, I don't think he who knows? I just think that it's the statements get prepared with staffers and stuff.
Yeah.
More instance of folks who do not know how to lead us, trying to divide us. And this is the opposite.
Is known for just tweeting shit that's like, I don't know. I think that he's pretty legitimate when his tweets and stuff and truths, because you can tell because of his cadence. He does the random capital sentences.
Yes. The random mannerisms.
Yeah.
Christian faith. Jesus centered the marginalized. He centered the poor. And in a moment like this, we need voices, particularly voices of faith, who would use our faith not as a weapon to beat other people down, but as a bridge to bring all of us together.
So I think it's important to note here that this isn't simply, I'm not going to say blankly Christians are freaking out about this, because it isn't Christians. Raphael Warnock is a Christian. Many people are Christians who are actually giving, caring people. They care about the marginalized. They care about uplifting individuals. Whereas you have Republicans that co-opt the message of religion to simply use it to be the victim and try and ramp up their base. That's where we get to former Governor Mike Huckabee doing that exact same thing that Raphael Warnock is warning against.
This is where we've gone
Wait,
to
is
La
that
La Land.
is that the White House chick's like dad or some shit? The what was the title? The fucking chick that does the press conference stuff.
I don't understand this at all.
You're
It would be
thinking of
the
Sarah
equivalent of Joe
Huckabee
Biden on
Sanders.
Is that this? Is he related to her?
I
She's
don't
from
think so.
Arkansas, isn't she?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Hmm.
Because she's got Huckabee Sanders, not just Huckabee.
Well, it could be a married name.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ramadan saying, okay, we're going to also declare this Eat More Pork and Bacon Day. Now, how would that go over?
Yeah, do it.
It's absurd. And Joe
Eat
Biden
bacon,
should be ashamed
bacon
of
good.
himself. And all these people say, yeah, but this is the day we've always
bad, don't eat
recognized Transgender Visibility Day. Well, recognize it another day, not on Easter Sunday. It's an affront to the Bible. And
Shut
quite
the
frankly,
fuck up.
it's an affront to biology.
It's a spiritual battle. There are people who want to de-Christianize this country, and very actively so. I think this was a very intentional insult. They can say all they want. Oh, it landed on the 31st, but just as Pete said, they could have moved it to the 1st. April Fool's Day probably would have been a more appropriate day than Easter Sunday in any case.
Not surprising, Fox News, they are just spewing pure hate, both the hosts as well as Mike Huckabee. The mere existence of Trans Visibility Day, or of any day, is or that they're the same thing. She probably has no idea, but it's just a message put out there blindly because they are trying to again ramp up the base. I mean, please. Trump, the idea that Trump in any way is religious. Have you seen him talk about his favorite Bible verse? Man, like the guy, not to mention him selling Bibles for $60. Just again using it.
Shit is free, bro. You're a fool.
Welcome back. Today's Easter egg roll is a long-standing
Holy
tradition.
shit! Look at this guy's facial hair. Jesus fucking Christ. That is awful. That is fucking awful.
The White House, but this year the cherished event is receiving some backlash from conservative groups over guidelines for the decorated egg submissions. NBC News White House correspondent Ali Rafa joins us now for more on this holiday dispute. So Ali, walk us through what was on this flyer that's sparking the controversy.
Yeah, Joe, good morning. The Easter egg roll has been a White House tradition for 146 years now, and it's usually been free of any political drama or controversy. But as you mentioned, this year was different. And the backlash has been sparked from conservative news outlets over the last few days who are slamming this flyer released by the National Guard, inviting children of members of the Guard to submit Easter egg designs for the White House Easter egg roll set to take place in just a few hours. And this flyer says designs, first, for one thing, can't promote illegal drugs. They can't promote the use of firearms. But the conservative outlets are really pointing to this detail, saying the design, quote, must not include any questionable content, religious symbols, or overtly religious themes.
My brother, this is haram.
In writing
so
this,
the eggs are literally designed by armed forces kids.
Yeah. And honestly, I think no religion, no guns, no politics, that's fine. You know, table rules, right? Dinner table rules.
Well, yeah, it's been like that for a long time.
Yeah. You know, dinner table rules make sense, even though nobody fucking follows them.
Religious themes in this year's contest, and it's sparking a strong defense by the Biden administration as well as the American Egg Board, which is saying that this has been a federal guideline for decades now.
The chair will advise that the rules do care,
and they're saying that it was all meant to not have this controversy to take place, to be as fair and nonpartisan and non-discriminatory as possible. Joe,
thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.
How about
tonight? We have important.
Yeah, stay on egg stuff.
Yeah, I'm going through.
I guess we have to rip the Band-Aid off. The stupidest news story of the day. Always a hotly contested title. Biden decried for proclaiming Transgender Visibility Day on Easter Sunday. Easter happens on a different day every year. It just happened to happen on Trans Visibility Day this year. That is how time and calendars work. There's really nothing to it.
Thank you.
Now to this, critics say Biden and the woke mob are taking a swipe at Christians this Easter.
Easter. This year, Easter Sunday falls on Transgender Visibility Day, which is traditionally on March 31st. But this year, not only did Fairfax County, Virginia, make an official proclamation for Easter Sunday, so did President Biden. Biden was the first president ever to issue an official proclamation for Transgender Day of Visibility, and this was back in 2021. And in his proclamation this year, he said, quote, "Today we send a message to all transgender Americans. You are loved, you are heard, you are understood, you belong. You are America, and my entire administration and I have your back."
And since Easter happens on a different day every year because it's not consistent, inevitably at some point Easter would happen on the 31st of March.
The Fairfax County Board making a similar proclamation this week.
I'm just very happy that we're recognizing a community that has too often been pushed into the shadows and celebrating yet another community within our diverse tapestry here in Fairfax County.
This is what you're supposed to be mad at,
What
by
a
the way.
male
If you're a Fox
feminist.
News boomer who's glued to your couch and never has anything to do because your your grandchildren don't call and you're retired, like, you're supposed to be seething mad at that. Like, that Fairfax County thing, yeah, like that's supposed to really get your blood going, you know?
Okay, so this day actually goes back to 2010. And when President Biden first made this proclamation back in 2021, that year, Easter was on April 4th. Except this year, they both happen on the same day, Lisa.
But it's also a random day created by a random person out of Michigan in the same way that I could declare
Oh
March
my
30th
God.
is the day of Lisa. The White House.
Yes, that is how declared holidays work. If you declare a holiday, you choose a day, and then that is the day. You could make March 30th Lisa Day if you wanted. The difficulty would be getting other people to recognize it, but yeah, okay.
It's also banned religious themed designs from the White House Easter egg art contest, when the whole point of Easter is to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ. It is a religious holiday, a religious celebration.
There's something called the separation of church and state. The state should make efforts to not be preferential in the recognition of any specific religion. Obviously, there's a lot of inconsistency in how well we adhere to this.
Do you know how to
Easter is
gender a
regarded as a
rabbit?
secular holiday by many people, just the
Maybe
same way
they
that
did.
Christmas is. Easter Bunny, you know, not in the Bible.
To celebrate the day of trans visibility in and of itself is an affront to Christianity because
Yeah. Also, there's nothing in the Bible about painting eggs. Yeah. You know, the traditionally Christian practice of hiding Easter bunny eggs and then finding them, you know, the thing that God demands you do.
as the Bible says that God made man and he made woman. He made male and female. To say otherwise is to deny the truth, is to deny God's creation.
Mocking Easter.
Well, it's a good thing that God isn't real and Christians don't determine literally everything done in this country. It's just, I don't know. It is remarkable how this far along the okay, first of all, if you really want to get to it, okay, man made Adam and Eve. Man didn't say shit about male and female, okay? Eve was made from a rib. Is that biological reality? Are you to tell me that the Bible lays out like gametes and chromosomes and shit? No, come on, okay? Like, God is literally a he, him, envy, right? Have you ever watched Dennis Prager's video on why God must be a father? And he's literally explaining how God is a father figure despite not having a biological sex. So he's using according to him, biological male pronouns for an entity that does not have a biological sex because it's God. It's the Christian God. And, Jesus was biologically male. Yeah, was, and then transitioned to being a god. You know, that's canon. You know, Jesus is both fully man and fully divine. You know, they settled that one a long time ago. Assigned male at birth, but
so to do it on Easter is blasphemous. You can even go back to the last Trans Day of Visibility in
I invite you to cry about it.
2023. He celebrated after Christian individuals were murdered by a trans person at the Covenant School in Nashville, and then the White House proceeded to go on.
Wasn't that transgender individual also himself Christian? That was just a regular school shooting. The person who did it just happened to be trans. Like, yeah, just no connection or relationship. This would be like saying you can't celebrate Easter because the day before Easter Christians killed people, which they did. They always have, because there are a lot of Christians, so statistically speaking.
And say that it was a trans community under attack, not Christianity. So I am so sorry that I believe that Joe Biden understands the optics of it, and he is doing this intentionally. And he is
the optics of recognizing the pre-existing date that is Trans Day of Visibility. You know, a sacrilegious act being deliberately pushed to push Satanism, you know, and destroy Christianity or something. Isn't Joe Biden Catholic? Yes, he's also, which is rare for a politician.
The funniest part about this whole thing is that they're just like, they're trying so hard. They're trying so hard to make it an issue. And everyone's like, calendars.
Yeah, well, even they said it.
It's so funny. Like, it's just the dumbest outrage for a while.
It's weird. The artificialness of them is just always so weird to me.
It's very strange. It's very, very strange. But this is what happens when you do news for money.
He's an actual Catholic. Like, all of Joe Biden's life, there's a pretty consistent record of him going to church and praying and actually being religious. Whereas the same cannot be said of basically every single Republican who claims to be Christian. Like, Donald Trump right now is literally selling Donald Trump themed Bibles. The only Trump approved Bibles, I'm not kidding, which is one of the most transparently, like, shamelessly grifter acts I could imagine. It's absolutely sacrilegious, you know. $60 Bibles ahead of Easter Sunday. Incredible. The only Trump approved Bible. What does that imply about the Bible, like the King James, you know? See, it's got God bless the USA in the front right there, you know? Do you think Trump has ever read a single word from the Bible? No.
Thumbing his nose at Christian.
It is the King James Bible.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. It's just the King James Bible with like our founding documents and shit.
Okay.
It's got the Constitution and the King James Bible.
And Easter, and he's essentially spitting in the face of Christians everywhere.
Yep, defying God, worshiping Satan. Yep.
Well, we also have, there's a Virginia mom who told Fox News Digital, Stephanie Lundquist, that, quote, they are intentionally trying to offend Christians on the holiest of days by forcing gender ideology down their throats. This is reprehensible and unbecoming of our elected representatives, David.
It is kind of nice, I guess, how open they are in the position. Like, the Republican Party is fully committed to the belief that there should be no separation of church and state. I know it's difficult to imagine now, but for a long time, this is a Democrat saying this, by the way, you know, at least nominally speaking. But for a long time, like, the separation of church and state was a broadly accepted idea, at least to some extent, you know, and relatively recently, I guess, I don't know, maybe since the Reagan years, since the Satanic Panic, I guess, like, there's been this massive ramping up in the just open position that there should be no separation of church and state.
Does Vosh still not know what dominionism is?
No. And if you want, nobody knows what dominionism is, but you can go watch our new LTAC that was finally released because we weren't going to wait anymore for our story to come in. But we'll probably do different ones in the future. We're going to have more subs.
Yeah.
For the stories. More
might be able to drop Tanya.
Get Tanya to do a story.
I spoke to her about it. She said she's interested. So we'll see what happens. We just have to give her time and not fuck around. But it's all right.
Position fronted almost entirely by, of course, Republicans. They're very transparent about it. Now, man, since the Red Scare, it's definitely ramped up since the Reagan years, but I agree it's never been an uncontroversial belief. Remember when Trump said he liked both the Old and New Testament equally? Yes!
No, I don't want to do that. I mean,
Old Testament guy or New Testament guy?
Probably equal. I think it's
incredible, phenomenal. You know, this guy was thinking when he said that, this is like this guy's Alden's number. Like, he's thinking there's no way Trump has an answer to this. He doesn't know the difference. He doesn't know Old Testament guy or New Testament guy. What an unhinged question. No. It's a based in red pill question. He's revealing Trump has literally no idea, zero concept of what the Bible is. You know, I don't know the difference. What is it? Christians worship the New Testament. Saying New Testament or Old Testament is saying, do you like? He's saying, do you prefer the Bible or the Torah, what the Jews worship and read from, essentially? And because he doesn't know what either of them are, he's like, oh, I like them both. You know, Christians believe both. Yes, they believe both, but they pull from the New Testament. No actual Christian would answer both to that. Absolutely none. Like maybe some like extreme.
Is that right? I actually don't know.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Crazy sect.
So,
but like
the only thing in like Catholic education that they really pull from the Old Testament is Adam and Eve, Abraham and the covenant, Moses. What's the other? Oh, Noah's Ark, because that's like a good children's story. So is Moses. You know, those are good children's stories.
Yeah.
The creation story is a good children's story. Abraham sacrificing his son, not so much.
Yeah.
And then you don't hear about really anything else, and then it's Jesus time. And then like more formal education, like they won't have you read the whole book of Job, but they'll show the beginning of the book of Job and then summarize what it's about.
Okay.
And then, but the book of Job is cool because it's one of the few times like Satan is in the Bible.
Oh, okay.
And like is like, it's not technically Satan. It depends on what version of the Bible you have, because like there's no devil in the Jewish Bible. So
really?
So in like in the Christian, when you have the Old Testament and the New Testament, they actually rewrite the Old Testament to fit into the New Testament war.
Okay.
So like when they talk about like everything becomes the Christian devil, right? But these were different entities that they talk about when they talk about like Lucifer, and like Abraham's son Jacob wrestles an angel and he is bestowed the name Israel.
Yeah.
And like the Mesopotamian god is El, right? And that's why it's Israel, because it's wrestles with God.
Okay.
Right? So that El in Israel literally, and also the southern tribe, they recognized it as El instead of Yahweh as well.
Huh. Okay.
But that angel that Abraham's sons wrestles is the Christian devil. It's Samiel.
Okay.
Which is like he's like a Punisher type thing. And so they said that he has venom, and that's why you get the burning in hell. It comes from the venom of God, which is what his name means.
Okay, weird.
So it's like it's derived because I would think about a burning sensation, because people literally used to think venom was fire inside you.
Oh my god. That's so funny.
Looking at it as a historical, I like to look at it both ways. It's interesting to see the development and links through all this stuff. It's just a lot of folklore is fascinating to me.
But why are Christians so dumb? Well, he's not a Christian, so they pull sermons from the old. Stop with the technicalities, guys. I'm aware, okay? I'm fully aware. But if you know anything about Christianity, the idea that the New and Old Testament are like equal in the eyes of Christians, completely nonsensical, okay? Like obviously, Christians will sometimes pull from the Old Testament when they want to be like, weird and trad or orthodox or homophobic or whatever. Okay, but like we know where these line up.
Joe Biden Catholic?
Yes.
Okay, just checking. I'm with Lisa. This is not a thing. It was made up. It's like Kwanzaa. It was.
Kwanzaa.
Okay.
Whoa, bro.
To do something. Who are they appealing to? There are roughly 1.6 million or so people in the U.S. according to some reports that identify as transgender. Where are they going?
It's basically Black Christmas.
Okay.
It is something that was invented, though.
Okay. That's fine. Every holiday is invented. Even Christmas.
But here's what they've done. They're gaslighting the American people because of the coincidence of this made up day versus
it's a holiday. That's all holidays are made up. That's how they work. All of them are. That's how they work. Holidays aren't found in nature.
An actual day that means something to billions of people worldwide, not just here in the United States. They want us talking about them. And this whole thing with the Easter egg hunt.
The funny thing about this is that the Trans Day of Visibility,
1966.
Yeah, so it was created by an activist based on African harvest traditions from various parts of West and Southeast Africa. It says Americans celebrate Kwanzaa have varied in recent years from as few as 500,000 to nearly 12 million. So that's his point. It's like it was something invented for Black people. That's what he was saying. This was invented to make Black people feel better. And that's what Trans Visibility Day is as well.
Yeah. That's the point. You fucking moron. Like, I don't understand how they can't.
I do. It's wild comparing it to Kwanzaa, though.
It's just it boggles my mind how they can't comprehend that the president, even if it's not him, it's a staffer saying it, right? Or it's a scheduled tweet, whatever. That coming from the president of the United States makes a big difference. For maybe not many people, but some. Right? A lot of people will realize how hollow it is. But for some it might.
We're getting into Sumerian shit now. Let me tell you something.
Hold on, let me finish. Because most people will probably realize how hollow like politician statements are. But like at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how hollow it is. The point of the whole thing is that it came from the president. That's all that really is required at this point. At a bare minimum. Like I don't understand how they just don't get this, or it's intentional misunderstanding. Anyway, Sumerians.
Okay. Anyway, the Sumerians, right? Babylon and shit. When the covenant is created under Abraham, God appears to him and says, "I am the Lord," and that's because Jews at the time, they come up from sheep herders. They're shepherds, right? But the clergy of the cults of Samaria and Babylon owned the land there, right? So God appearing to Abraham and making the covenant saying, "I am the Lord," is them putting their authority over the landlords who are the clergy at the time, right? So basically what I'm saying is that Judaism is based in anti-landlordism.
Falling on Easter really has kind of like overpowered Easter, hasn't it? Because all conservatives want to do is talk about trans people. Like, you'd think if they were actually devout Christians or Catholics or whatever, that they would be talking about Easter and they would be like trying to push out the presence of trans people from this day. But instead, all they can do is talk about trans people because they're not actually religious and they're just grifting over it.
I've been to a few of those. It's a lot of fun. You eat a lot of too many eggs. But part of it was people expressing themselves. So now the government, under the Biden auspice, will tell you that you can't present a religious, First Amendment, a religious imagery on an egg.
First of all, you don't eat the eggs.
It was a serious issue, you know?
You
they
eat candy,
taxed those
and
shepherds
the eggs are not a part of
just
the
to feed
Jesus
their
ritual.
sheep.
It's just, that's the secular part of Easter. Did this guy just say eat too many eggs? Yeah, because none of them believe in any of this. This is one of those controversies that is like entirely grift. Like there's no substantial element to it. I saw Caitlyn Jenner on Twitter was saying that it was like satanic for Trans Day of Visibility to fall on Easter, when back in I think 2011 she said Happy Trans Day of Visibility.
Yeah, one of the worst things that Christianity invents is the devil, which Islam doesn't recognize, but I think they do recognize like a dark afterlife type
Interesting.
thing. I'm not sure though.
I have a title for this clip, by the way. We'll call it the something standalone complex. We'll call it like we'll do some play on words and figure out a
Easter
title.
Bunny Uzi.
something and incorporate.
Well, this is the joke about like if Jesus was alive today, Republicans would crucify him.
They probably would.
Like that's the thing is, it's like even you think of the Catholic Church, you would say that the Catholic Church is probably the most powerful conservative institution in the world, right? But even they're like, trans people are people.
Yeah, it's not
it's not like them saying that it's okay to be trans. That's much different thing. They're just recognizing them as human, basically,
which is a bare minimum.
Yeah,
like how hard is that?
But
and
that's what makes the Pope woke, and that's what makes Protestants hate the Pope.
It's also very funny when they're like, it's man and woman, and I'm like, yeah, they're going from man to woman or woman to man. Like, what's your issue? They're not.
Yeah. Also,
they're not slipping your gender binary, buddy.
the whole thing with citing Adam and Eve as man and woman. Like, there's a first wife of Adam, right?
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, it's like extra lore, right? It's not like official, like recognized lore, but like everyone still recognizes the lore, right? It's like the Dead Sea Scrolls. They talk about Belial and stuff. Belial isn't in the actual Bible. Yeah. But yeah, so his first wife is the wife of Satan.
Oh, okay.
So the first woman that's created, she's created not of like the flesh. She's created like similarly to like from dust and clay, like how Adam is, right?
Okay.
And she refuses to lay with him. So God curses her to have 100 children every day, and there'll be 100 stillborn children every day.
Jesus.
So she then has to go and jack off guys in their sleep, right? And then take their cum, and that's why you have nighttime emissions, right? Because that's the mother of all demons, taking your cum, because she needs to get her children are the succubus and the incubus.
Okay.
Right, and then they're like so she's like the grandma of all demons, right? So she has to get 100 cream pies, and then every additional cream pie is a new demon. So are we gonna apply gender to that one? What do we think about that one?
Fucking hell.
On Easter. It happened before. Like it's completely made up. None of them believe it. Oh, 2017, not 2011. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, 2017. Wasn't Easter a pagan holiday? I mean, so was Christmas, right? It's always like that.
I mean, again, I'm even more cynical than Lisa. This is gas.
I'd be calm.
Yeah, how could you be that calm? Because I know you're not. No, but seriously, they're just gaslighting
How
us
can you be that much calm? What?
To this topic. This is
gaslighting doesn't mean anything
There's
anymore.
also
It has no
like
meaning. The word has no meaning whatsoever.
Rome used before Christian Rome, they used like a bull flag, right? And basically the devil, the reason why it has horns and stuff is because the other gods that came up around the time, they were all ox gods and bull gods and things like that, because that was the symbol of strength and fertility and things like that. So this becomes an image of pagans. You'll see them build a statue to a bull in Moses, right? And he comes back and he throws the commandments on their ground because they're worshiping this bull. And so because Rome also had like the bull on their shield, they adapted all that symbolism of bulls in the Bible to show that like Rome was the enemies of Christians and stuff in those early days.
Is false, just like this quote, day of visibility. You're visible every other day of the year.
Oh my God.
Okay, Joey, I'm gonna have to get you on the next one. I'm so sorry. I gotta go.
It's weird.
Wait,
because
is he implying that
it's
trans
weird
people
because
are
nobody
actually
actually looks at the actual Christian and Jewish history, like the people that actually lived in those documents. But the Quran, like everyone knows about the Arab expansionism under the Prophet and stuff. You know, like like there's history in there. Like people dismiss that shit way too easily. Like obviously, like magic doesn't exist and stuff, and there's not a demon jacking you off at night. Like no shit, but it's still interesting because it applies, like it forms around the culture. Yeah, Zeus was also symbolized as a bull. Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
And that goes into the Roman mythology as well.
Visible every other day. Boss, you actually do eat the colored eggs. They're hot. I have never seen people eat the damn eggs. Okay,
yes,
people eat candy on Easter. If any of you degenerates actually out there eating hard-boiled eggs on Easter, that's your problem, and I don't care for your. I don't care. Keep that in the bedroom. All right, I don't believe in that. More of a European thing. I don't believe in them either. Apparently, some freaks eat the colored hard-boiled eggs. It's wild. Yeah, sickening. Truly revolting. You know, that's the real sacrilegious behavior on Easter. You know, on this holy day.
Yeah.
You mean the chocolate eggs? You don't paint the chocolate eggs. Chocolate is a horrible canvas to paint on. There are things called choco eggs. You don't paint the choco eggs. You don't hard boil them either. We do here. You hard boil the chocolate eggs, Dr. Strange. No, we paint the chocolate eggs. Why would you paint? That's not true. They make edible paint. We're not talking about the edible, the edibility.
Food coloring, brah.
What?
Jesus Christ.
Literal food coloring.
All right, we're moving on. We're moving on.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
No, you don't want to see Hassan's take on this?
Oh my God. No.
He thought about it. He thought about it.
No.
What about Caitlyn Jenner?
No,
on
we
Fox
already
News.
saw that. We already saw.
She went on Fox News to just run her mouth.
That's fine. FBI.
All right, we're following breaking news out of Atlanta where an individual had rammed a vehicle into the gate of the field office of the FBI there in an attempt to gain entry this afternoon. We know at this point that bomb technicians have cleared the vehicle that rammed that gate, and the suspect is in police custody with the DeKalb County Police.
Okay,
how did you think this was going to go down? That's my question.
I don't know. Also, that looks like an MG. That's not the car you want to use, my friend.
Yeah, that's why it's funny.
It's made of paper, sir.
Like, how did you expect this to? I mean, did you see it? Did you see the picture of it?
Yeah.
On what we know, we can see in these pictures coming to us, we see a vehicle that has gone through the gate, stopped, obviously by that sort of security plate or the gate that comes down. But tell us what you know, Evan.
Well, Brianna, at this point, this person is now in custody of the police, but he's also being evaluated at the hospital. At the hospital there, I think Ryan Young said it was in DeKalb County, and so that's the expectation now. That evaluation is going to take some time. It will include a mental health evaluation.
How did you expect this to go? Seriously, like, did you expect to just like jump over this?
He loved the box.
Crazy.
explained about this incident at this point. This person drove up to that what is an employee entrance for that complex where the FBI building is, or where the FBI field office is located, and tried to gain entry. They came out of the vehicle and tried to walk in to the complex. They were stopped by the FBI security people who help screen visitors to that complex. And so that's where this ended. At this point, again, from what we know, the person didn't make any statements, any threats. There was no expectation of a heightened threat at this FBI building. So it was certainly something of a surprise. And so
he crashes.
I would have been like, I had a brief period of confusion and thought brake was the accelerator.
He gets out. He's like, "Hey guys, can I have a job? Job market's rough."
I was confused.
So I was wrong.
I thought the brake was the accelerator. I was confused.
I was wrong. It's an alpha. The electronics went wild and the accelerator went off. It's Italian.
Person is probably
what's going to happen next is obviously being evaluated not only for any
super sick reloads and somersaults across the car.
Potential injuries, but also for potential mental health issues,
because
this is so unexplained at this point. As Ryan Young pointed out, there were no weapons found immediately, and the vehicle has been cleared. There's no bombs. So those are the first and immediate concerns when you have something like this. Those are the first and immediate concerns that the security folks, the FBI, tries to make sure is made clear. And so now the work continues to try to figure out what happened here, what prompted this person to go to this entrance and ram that vehicle into that
the backseat of the car. First of all, it looks like there's a dead guy on the floor of the back seat, right?
A little bit.
That barrier, the entry to the FBI field office just outside.
Very, very heavily on security.
How did they waffle on for fucking 11 minutes about this shit? This is a skill in and of itself.
I know,
just
right?
talking shit for 11 minutes. How?
Yep.
Carolina plate. So building just to put eyes on to make sure that there aren't.
Hear from some in the FBI or formerly of the FBI who'd had their security clearances revoked after they had attended
that
January
looks like
6th.
A guy back there. That's totally a head, right? It's totally a dead guy.
It definitely looks like it. It looks like it.
Or had trafficking conspiracy theories about it. And all of that, I wonder from your perspective, has that put the FBI really kind of on the map for a lot of people in a way that it wasn't
good
before?
at it. That's
no, most certainly. I mean, specifically when you talk about a lot of the conspiracy theories about the FBI.
Just imagine the people we bring in who are going to be better than us at streaming.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, we're fundraising, not streaming.
Yeah.
Did you know that YouTube demonetized this permanently?
Completely, yeah. Great.
Maybe one day. I don't know how sponsorships work with NGOs and stuff.
It would have to be donations, maybe.
Depends.
I don't know. They could sponsor the videos because they sponsor certain videos. You don't sponsor.
Yeah, well, you can eventually also you can make your videos fundraisers and stuff like Breakthrough News does.
Yeah.
Past several years. I mean, that is something that obviously is a very concern to personnel. I'll say at the outset,
it's
obviously,
too controversial.
Being a mental health incident. Obviously, the vast majority of people who struggle with mental health don't turn out to be violent.
At least we'll give him a computer that doesn't have his porn stash on it.
Yeah, well, that's why you can't platform him because of the lolicon shit.
Yeah.
I'm going to take you away anyway.
So it's important to note that. But, when you have people that are on the receiving end, specifically online, social media, all of this vitriol, all of these conspiracy theories. I mean, you look at that individual back in 2022 in Cincinnati. This is someone who followed the FBI's search at Mar-a-Lago at the residence. And that person was essentially arming for some type of, quote, revolution, law enforcement sources had told us at the time. So you can just see how when you have people that are out there consuming that type of information, and then they might be prone to actually act upon that with violence, that is something that law enforcement and indeed, federal and state and local security facilities across the country are having to guard against. It's also worth noting, we have Evan and I have reported about a DHS bulletin not long ago that came out, the Department of Homeland Security, that was warning state, federal, local law enforcement around the country to be on guard for potential political violence. They listed a number of different reasons why that could be the case, everything from action taking place around legislatures around the country, actions in the courts. They didn't specifically mention former President Donald Trump and his legal woes, but that was essentially signaling that you have people people that because of what's happening there in that court system that might be, might decide to act with violence. And then a host of other different reasons, and that spans the political spectrum, people who might be prone to act with violence. And so if you're a law enforcement agency, that is something that you're having to guard against. I'll state again, because I know, people on social media who, try to connect dots here. We don't know that this has anything to do with, any type of political incident. We don't know yet that this was a mental health episode. Quite frankly, for FBI personnel on the scene, that's the second factor for them. The first is to obviously render safe that vehicle, which we know has happened, to bring in the bomb technicians to make sure that aren't any type of explosives or weapons. But the investigation itself is going to be
enough. We get it.
That,
oh my God! Shut up. They're still going on.
It's fucking. I know. I'm looking for videos to go to because I don't want to go to the Havana thing yet.
There's.
Okay, let's do this Supreme Court thing.
What? I don't know. What is going on here? Yes, who said yes? I'm a chaser. If Trump wins, I'll join AS. Who said this? Is this Bosch?
I have no idea what's happening.
I forgot I said New Zealand. Okay, I just realized what this was. To be clear, I was talking about white people. Because it's funny when the white people do it.
That was the context. We were laughing at white people that do the haka.
I want to know the context. Oh, if Trump wins, I'll join Al Shabaab. Yeah, that's the black red card.
It is an outrage that a medication that the FDA approved over 20 years ago.
Whenever, as soon as they went ho ho, hey hey, I'm like abortion bill. I'm like, oh man. I'm like, you could have done something so funny, but obviously they're not going to do it. Is like, ho ho, hey hey, abortion bills are fucking gay.
Vosh is too controversial because of the folder.
Just the folder, right?
Used by more than 5 million people in the United States is now under attack. With this case, the Supreme Court could roll back the hands of time and limit access to essential reproductive health care. But we're gathered here today in solidarity to say, not on our watch.
Why did they zoom in on that guy?
I don't know.
Oh, what's going on here?
Dead cop.
Tonight,
God.
remembering a fallen.
Sorry. Not dead cop. Good cop.
NYPD hero. Thousands gathered to say their final goodbyes to Officer Jonathan Diller today. The 31-year-old father was shot and killed during a traffic stop this week.
Look at that. Look how many police are there. Look how many police are there.
Crazy. This is how many police stand between cops that kill people and them facing justice. This is how many cops stand in that way, by the way.
Posthumously promoted to detective. His funeral was held at St. Rose of Lima Church in Massapequa. Bagpipes played as his casket was carried into the church with his family right behind him. And as CBS 2's Naveen Dhaliwal reports,
they
his
used
heartbroken widow
they used the
found
NYPD flag, bro. Do you know about this?
Oh, really? Is that the green and white flag, is it? No, I don't.
NYPD has a specific NYPD.
That's
I was like, what do they got, a Nigerian flag on there? It's so ugly.
But what do you mean? Civil war is imminent. It's coming on April 11th. Oh, that's gross. That is honestly probably one of the worst flags I've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't know why they do it.
That's gross.
I guess maybe because it's got a Y in it for the Yankees.
To speak. A sea of blue.
One cop dying, bro.
One, yeah. How many people do they kill a year? Does this happen? No? Oh, they just run to their defense and say the cops did nothing wrong.
Cops get killed at traffic stops. Oh no.
Yeah. Oh no. Wow. It's like anytime I see like reporting on a celebrity, I'm like, I don't care. Celebrity is sick. I don't care. Everyone is sick.
It was the
all
first
the time.
NYPD death in about 2 years. Well, that's what happens when you're the 5th largest military in the world.
Diller, his flag-draped coffin led into St. Rose of Lima Church. Very sad. Very sad. A tremendous show of support from law enforcement agencies across the tri-state. Sadness and sorrow.
Do the cops show up like this for the victims of police shootings? No? Interesting.
Overtook the sunshine as his widow, Stephanie, held their 1-year-old son, Ryan, closely during a moving eulogy, her heartbreak raw.
With every hug that I've received, I just picture each one is from Jonathan.
Finding the strength that she told us about the man she fell in love with and married over 4 years.
Yeah.
Pop, pop, pop. And then it was like rapid fire.
Years ago.
He could always make me laugh, and that was one of the things I love most about him.
Calling him her best friend, closest confidant, the man whose family always came first.
He was a fierce protector of everyone around him. He spoke his mind and wasn't afraid.
And as fierce as he was, his heart would melt for his son.
He was so proud of Ryan. Every time he did something new, it was like an explosion of joy from both of us.
Officer Diller had been with the NYPD
soon she's
going to
be kicked down by the child's new dad.
Probably another cop.
A job he loved, and he came from a family of first responders.
We told him to go out there and make this city a better place to live, to work, and to raise a family. And that's exactly what he did.
Until Monday, the 31-year-old was another to die in the line of duty.
Poggers! Acknowledgement that he was shot. He fought and took the gun out of the hand of the person who would take his life.
His widow recounting the words of Officer Rivera's widow 2 years ago when she spoke at her husband's
should have been quicker.
Should have.
Funeral, advocating for more protection for police officers.
Dominique Rivera stood in front of all the elected officials present today pleading for change. That change never came. And now my son will grow up without his father. I will grow old without my husband.
During the service, NYPD Commissioner Caban promoted Officer Diller to detective and vowed to his family that the NYPD will stand behind them for life. In Massapequa Park, Naveen Dhaliwal, CBS 2 News. And the memory of Detective Diller shines bright in Times Square, where a billboard lit up in his honor today. It says, "Rest in peace, end of watch, March 25th," with a photo of Diller.
Did they give Times Square memorial to what was the guy that got choked out and body slammed? The big dude.
Oh yeah.
On the street corner, and they choked him out. That dude, did he get what's his name? I
don't remember.
Can't remember. Someone in the chat will remember. Anyway. It was one of the most fucked up ones, I think. Like,
and an American flag. The NYPD says the billboard celebrates Diller's life and is a show of support for his family. This morning, we carried Detective Diller's funeral live on our streaming channel, CBS News New York. You can also find our reporting on the investigation.
They're about to put in these scanners. They're like they're literally like AI scanners that are like notoriously bad.
Okay.
And you lease them, right? So the state has to pay monthly, yearly for these scanners and their upkeep, right? That are known not to work.
There we go. Eric Garner was his name. Here we go. I told you people would know.
And
yeah,
like so like if you remember, they just raised the tolls into the city.
Yes.
Saying that it would raise the budget for Metro.
Mm-hmm.
That budget's going towards these scanners that are a waste of money that do nothing.
Oh, great. Awesome. Great job, New York.
Thanks, Eric.
Going hard.
So new this morning, the absurd, not to mention offensive alternate reality devoid of facts that was created as search and rescue efforts were underway.
Let's fucking go. Conspiracies, baby.
Donnie O'Sullivan is with us this morning. You know, why, Donnie? Just why?
Yeah, John. Look, I mean, by the time most of us woke up on Tuesday.
No, what will happen, and people will say, oh, they're not effective, we need better ones. And then they will upgrade and keep them there, continue bleeding money into them, and then bleed more money into more expensive ones.
They were literally, so the studies showed that they're literally like less effective than not doing anything. Because they flag so many cell phones as weapons.
Oh my god.
That it takes resources away from other places.
Awesome.
Morning to that news of the collapse of the bridge in Baltimore, there were already wild conspiracy theories circulating online just hours after the event occurred. I want to show you a list quickly of just some of these totally false conspiracy theories, just to show you how ridiculous they are. Initially, people were claiming that there was a foreign cyber attack.
They were saying that the Irish did it. That's obviously.
Deliberately crash into the bridge, of course, which is false. There's absolutely no
Oh,
evidence
the
for that.
Obama produced Netflix movie is my favorite.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's it about? Like, what part of Obama is it
Oh,
about?
so like it was like in this movie that Obama's like company, because he like opened like like a company that produced this movie, right? So it's loosely connected to Obama, but it opens with a boat hitting a bridge.
Okay.
That's what the conspiracy says, at least.
Okay.
The captain of the ship was impaired in some way by the COVID-19 vaccine. Again, totally false. Nothing happened with the captain. Others were claiming
foreign cyber attack. James was trying to push that narrative. Mr. Hakani, saying that Hakani hacked the boat.
For the and also, it just kind of got a bit wilder and wilder after that. There was an Obama. The Obamas produced a movie on Netflix that had a tanker ship run aground in it. So therefore, the Obamas had something to do with this. And then, of course, these conspiracy theories and this tragic event was taken, used as a political battering ram in our culture wars in this country at the moment, and people decided to blame DEI, diversity and inclusion policies, some way for the crashing of this ship.
Finkelberg.
What spreads these?
That's funny because I was just.
How do they get spread so quickly, Donnie?
Yeah, I mean, that was the pretty remarkable thing, is that, we saw the numbers immediately on Tuesday morning, and it was tens of millions of people saw these posts. It's very possible that tens of millions of Americans woke up on Tuesday morning, and before they actually saw the news, before they actually saw the facts of what happened in Baltimore, they would have read some of these conspiracy.
There it is. Dinkelberg.
The fuck?
You know what that is?
Any cataclysmic.
No idea.
You don't know what this is right here?
No, what is
this
that?
Meme? You don't know what the Fairly Odd Parents are?
I never watched it. Never watched it.
You didn't have them? Or you're too young?
No, we had it. No, we had it. I just never watched it.
You were too young?
No, I just never watched it.
Apparently, it's still on.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Like, they got to be beating that shit with, like, a stick now.
Event in the United States or around the world, but I think what is different about what we're seeing right now is just the speed.
Yeah,
and
Hakani doesn't have technical skills. Who does, though? What's really funny is if you read Gulbuddin Hikmatyar's biography, he talks about learning to code in it just because, basically to make websites to counter the Taliban. Which is so funny to make Gulbuddin. I think this is a Lena joke, actually. The image of Gulbuddin Hikmatyar being so mad at the Taliban that he learns to code.
Immediately, that will pop up basically on any event. I mean, we're talking about this today because obviously this is a huge story, the bridge collapse and the virality of these posts.
Cosmo gave birth to a kid.
It is not extraordinary.
Is they have more? Is it the one kid poof? I know that they have one kid.
Taylor Swift rigging the Super Bowl, or whether it is the 2020 election being rigged.
I remember when Mr. Salt and Mrs. Pepper had
more
kids.
And more Americans are living in this world. And look, the people who are making this misinformation and disinformation are spreading it. They're being rewarded greatly because platforms like X, which formerly Twitter, now owned by Elon Musk, pays in certain cases for posts to go viral. And viral posts can oftentimes be false and scandalous and outlandish and false posts. So there's just this whole industry there. And I think what really we should take a step back and just see, this is the landscape that we're going into the 2024 election, and you can just see how well oiled a machine the disinformation industry is.
Yeah, well, instead of paying attention to that, let's think about let's think about the lives that were lost and the thousands of lives affected from the workers in Baltimore. Donnie O'Sullivan, thank you so much. An important report. Appreciate it.
Johnny
And
O'Sullivan.
here's a different kind of reality check, as in the reality. New video showing what was
Clearly
happening
a Jew.
on that Baltimore bridge just seconds before it collapsed into the
Damn.
river after a cargo ship rammed into it. A final few cars made it safely to the other side. But those flashing lights that you see on the bridge are vehicles believed to belong to the construction
Look,
workers
here comes the
who did
boat,
not
just like
make it
Godzilla.
off the bridge in time. And you can also see just to the right of the bridge, the cargo ship. You can see the lights there just seconds before it
Godzilla.
actually hit the pillar.
It's
Joining me
coming.
right now, former NTSB investigator Charlie
Oh,
Pereira.
come on.
Good to see you, Charlie.
You cut away at the best part.
NTSB chair, NTSB, and you could hit on.
Fred.
Right, and here's a different
What
kind
are
of
you
reality
rewinding
check,
for?
as in the
There's
reality
nothing.
video showing
There's
I know, I
literally
wanna see
nothing.
it.
on that Baltimore bridge just seconds before it collapsed.
They
flew
don't
to the
show
other
it collapse.
side. But those flashing lights that you see on the
Oh,
bridge are
legit.
vehicles believed to belong to the construction workers.
And
who
they
did
cut it
not make
before it hits?
off the bridge in
Yeah.
time. And you can also see
Oh, get fucked.
just to the right of the bridge, the cargo ship. You can see the lights there just seconds before it actually hit the pillar. Joining me right now, former NTSB investigator.
Fuck right off. Get fucked. Fuck you, CNN.
Charlie Pereira. Good to see you, Charlie. So the NTSB chair, Jennifer Hamady, says that the investigation could take up to 2 years. Help us understand what will happen in that 2-year period. It would seem the focus is going to be on the vessel, right? These
Okay.
reports of
Now I don't care because you cut off and we didn't get to see the whole thing. Fuck you. Get fucked.
Yeah, that'll
Is the
show
border an
him.
important issue for you?
Yes, it is very important. Go
Now
ahead.
we get to see the Young Turks doing journalism.
Is it
Maybe.
though? It's just ambush interviews.
It's just ambush interviews.
You be supportive of a bill that gave the president the authority to close sections of the border at his will at any time if the migration got too high?
Yes, I close it all. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Yes, I'm a supporter 100%. There has to be border control. Other countries have it. Why don't we?
So why were you supportive then of Donald Trump when he urged members of Congress to vote against such a bipartisan bill?
Oh, yes, yes.
But if you want that, why wouldn't Trump want that? Is what I'm saying.
Well, okay, wait a minute. Trump, maybe to answer it. Trump wants to close the bill, correct?
There was a bipartisan bill in Congress that would have given the president authority to close the border or different border crossings. Trump wanted people to vote against it in Congress, and both Republicans and Democrats were dismayed at that. Do you still support Trump's position on that, is what I'm asking?
My position would be, and I don't get into the whole thing, I want it closed. I want areas open. If they're going to do it legal, do it legal. I don't care if it's Democrat, Republican. I want the border closed and people come in like we normal, come in legal.
One of the issues that I can't hardly bear to even think about
Grandma?
is the border. I know anything else is going to be easy, but this is not going to be easy. There's too many of them in here, and we don't know where they are or what they look like, or they're not. There's no track. We can't track them. And Biden right now is protecting them. So he's got no business being where he is, and Trump will fix that. We just got to be sure that they don't cheat and make it not possible for Trump to get in there.
You think they cheated last time?
I know they did. This was the same kind of people, this much, that was in here in Toronto.
Sorry, Grandma, but human rights apply to fucking migrants too, whether they're
Well,
illegal
she's
or
saying
legal.
that because Trump has like bigger crowds and people like him more, he had to have been the winner because they wanted it more than
Sure.
people wanted
that
Biden.
makes sense, Grandma. Okay.
Which is
Go
true.
home.
You do want Trump more than people want Biden.
Yeah. You do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, people do
there's-
not like Biden as much as these people like Trump. Yes, that is
Yeah.
true.
I was just talking about what she said before.
Yeah, well, I
Make
mean,
it
it's
not
like these
possible.
people are also racists.
Yeah.
For Trump to get in there.
You think they
Like,
cheated last time?
I think it's I think it's the not
No
useful
business
idiots.
being where he.
It's a guy who does these type of interviews.
Yeah.
But
Is it nuanced, bro?
No. They got a dumb name like bad journalist or something, or like useful idiot type thing.
Oh, okay.
And he's just like, he goes to like CPAC and stuff and asks them about, like, they're trying to teach my kids about consent in school. You know, and they're,
It's like the left wing side of
yeah,
things.
yeah. It's
Interesting.
I forgot his name though. But one he's at a Trump thing, and he keeps asking them. All of them keep saying the number one issue is the border, and he keeps asking every single one of them, have you been personally affected by the border? And nobody can have a story about how
That's
they
so
were
funny.
personally affected by this border.
The point that I was talking about her, what she said is that we don't know where they are or can't track them. I'm like, yeah, look, Constitution protects them too.
Yeah.
Not sure if you're aware of this, but whether you're illegal or legal, if you're in America, you're protected by the Constitution.
Mhm.
You know, newsflash, I guess. Australian telling you how the American Constitution works. Love this. MAGA, right?
Yeah, and
Fucking
that's
idiots.
one of the things that bill was going to address too.
Yeah,
is
and
to
it would have made legal immigration faster and easier.
Yeah.
Green cards would have gone up. It would have been great. It would have
it
been
would have lowered
fantastic for
lowered
America.
illegal crossings
Mhm.
because specifically now still people who actually need asylum are not going to wait for this.
Yes.
But people who have like asylum claims from a home country, like not running from
Yeah.
cartel and shit, right?
Mhm.
So they have like they're not in threat of being deported from Mexico. They apply online
Yeah.
for basically to go right through with they get asylum and a green card
Straight
on
away,
entry through, but it is a backed up process because it's like a government
Yeah.
website to apply with.
Yeah.
But still, that policy alone has lowered a lot of the
I bet it has.
a lot of the issues and overflow.
I bet it's probably lowered deaths too.
Well,
And
Republicans
another
certainly
actual
raised them.
thought about border policy would be great and would actually be good. And
Yeah, well,
reforming
also
the green card fucking system would be excellent because obviously population's going up. If you're a capitalist, you want number go up on sheet, right? You need more
Yeah, but they're
people to make
racist
number go
first.
up. Australians are underrepresented. Get me over there. I'm an underrepresented minority. It's actually true. Australians have preference for green cards.
All my
It's
family just
kinda
complains.
interesting.
I haven't dealt with my mom in a while, but my dad watches like really awful shit, and they've been just together down in Florida listening to talk radio real loud.
Awesome. Their
So-
opinions are going to be great.
Who
And
knows
make it
the
not
type of
possible
wacky
for
shit
Trump to
they've
get
been
in there.
listening
You
to.
think they cheated last
Mm.
time?
I know they did.
What
the
is
same
cool
kind
though
of
is that
people
we're really
this
breaking
much.
into the fringe media, like where we're overlapping with Hezbollah TV, right?
Mm.
So people who are watching Hezbollah TV and stuff are starting to watch us too.
That's really funny because they're going to hate us.
Well, that's the thing is that the way we go about it, we're still so counter narrative.
Mm. It might break them out of it.
Well, that's kind of the point.
Mm.
Break everyone out of
It's
everything.
what we want, right? It's what we're
Just
doing here.
just see through shit. Make your own
Mhm.
mind up about stuff. It's really
Yeah,
not
exactly.
that hard.
Exactly.
Like
It's
I don't.
media
It's
literacy.
not like anyone listening to me is less of an American stan, right? Like
Sure.
if you're like all American all the way, all the shit talking I do about them is not really going to affect you. Because I also talk about because you're just you're being realistic.
Yeah, it's because our criticism of America is never like absurdities, right? Like the tankies. We're never going out of our way to be like, America did this. Sources, we made it up.
Yeah.
Right? It's that sort of shit that we're not doing. But whatever. Yeah. Watch us if you want. Don't if you don't. Yeah, it is what it is.
That was in here in 20.
We'll hire
It's the same-
controversial people like Bosch in the
It's the
future.
same exciting excitement that you felt. tonight.
Okay, lady.
He's honest and he wants what we
We'll
want.
hire
We want
his son and give him actual work hours so he doesn't overwork and he can actually have
can't.
a work-life balance.
He's too addicted.
We'll force him to touch grass. We'll mandatory 2 hours outside sitting on the grass. Rain, hail, or shine.
Bro, he did touch grass though.
I know.
I
and look how
showed,
much
I showed
better his
Jack the
content was.
Hassan fan who ran up to him and was like, "No, no."
But look how much better his content's been since he's been in Australia. Touching grass is helping him.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know how
Close
hard
the
his job
borders
is.
and 11,000
No, it's so
immigrants
hard.
came in and
Hardest
The
job
border is an
ever.
important issue for you. Would you support a bill in Congress that gave the president the authority to close the border at his whim if there's a surge in immigrants to say we're going to close that border crossing and the president has the authority to do that?
sure.
Because that bill was just in Congress, and Donald Trump urged many members of Congress not to support such a bill. What would you say to Donald Trump about that?
I don't know.
I
I'm
say it
sure he's
loud
got
and
a
clear,
better
then blow up
plan
that
than just
dam.
shutting the border. I don't know what I would do.
Mm-hmm.
He kept the borders safe.
The borders are important too.
Oh yeah, the borders, yeah.
Would you like the president to have the power to close different border crossing at his whim, to close it whenever he wanted?
Yes.
So there was a bill in Congress recently that Donald Trump had people in Congress not support. It was a bipartisan bill to
She's
give
going
the
to
president the
panic
authority
and
to close
backpedal
different border
hard.
crossings. Are you upset with Trump that he urged them not to pass that bill?
No, because I know that he can handle. He's handled it before, and I know that once he gets back into the administration, he can bring
Pure
back the
copium.
policies that he did have and
cope.
hopefully get control over the border again. So.
And what about immigration? Is that important issue for you?
What I just hope is like a seed gets planted and they start thinking about this.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And they start thinking like, "Whoa, wait, what is that true?" Because they're going to look it up.
What if that's
after
right?
it.
Yeah. And then they're going to look it up and see it's true, and then they're going to look into it a bit more, and they're going to de-radicalize themselves, maybe.
What do you
That'd
mean,
be
zoo
cool.
correspondent? Are we talking about animal fucking or actual zoos? Because I'm interested in zoo news. You know, like what baby giraffe is getting born today? You know, that's epic news. That's why I always go to the animal news whenever Jack walks away on Friday.
I could apply for a job.
Well,
that's
that
working
Gibbon
at the zoo.
hedgehog video got a copyright claim on us. It had no effect
Seriously?
because we have no monetization, so it doesn't matter. But
That's hilarious. There's a job opening at the moment for the media correspondent at the zoo.
Hell yeah.
Like the media manager for the zoo, so
Hell
you
yeah.
manage the media for the 5 zoos
Yeah.
in Melbourne.
Hell
That'd be
yeah.
a fucking
Have you
sick
seen
job.
have you seen the Park Service meme where they go, "Who runs this account?" Have you seen that meme?
Mm-mm. I have not.
So we actually do need to cut that back a little bit so that we can take care of the people that are here in this country right now.
There was a bipartisan bill in Congress that did cut that also gave the president the power to shut down specific border crossings at their whim. Would you support that?
Anything that stops this flood of migrants right now is just too much.
Because the U.S. Congress just had a bill, an immigration bill,
Would.
and Donald Trump, who's not in office now, is trying to
Here, check
urge
this
members of
out.
his party not to support it, even.
So National Park Service, you know it's cold outside when you go outside and it's cold. Who's running this account?
That's awesome. Dude, it's so funny. I'm not gonna say every company because it's not like every company's like thing. It doesn't fit their brand, right? But if your brand is like young and funny, you should be shit posting. Like it's worked for Wendy's, it's worked for a bunch of companies. I think Cheetos is one that shit posts, or it's like a chip company of some sort. It's one that I've never fucking heard of. That is shit posts all the time. Fucking hilarious.
What do you think of that?
Awkward. The fuck is going on? Oh, it's the National Park Service again. Dude, this is great. I support shit posting. I support corporate shit posting.
Well, I mean, this is government shit posting.
Well, government shit posting, corporate shit posting, it's the same thing. It's bad shit posting that's funny because you know it's coming from boomers.
Tell Trump to actually support it, because that's what you were saying you wanted.
All I have to say is build that wall. That's all I have to say about
What does that mean?
Is the border an important issue for you?
It's the most important issue.
The most.
Our sovereignty of our country is at stake. Yes.
There was a bill in Congress that gave the president power to shut off different border crossings as the surges were happening and close them entirely. Would you be supportive of that?
Congress is never going to do that.
Well, Congress just
They
had
were
a bill
literally
that would have
trying to
given the
pass it,
president
you
power for that, no?
doofus.
The Congress had a bill that's codified 5,000 illegal aliens a day. That's
A
not border
doofus.
security.
So there's no middle ground then. It's either all or nothing, or nothing in your take.
I believe the Democrats want 10 million more votes.
A
and they'll
doofus.
get them at the next census with all these illegal aliens coming across. That's what I believe. They want congressional House.
They can't vote, you fucking moron. They're not citizens.
seats.
But these aren't
You
people that are
can,
getting citizenship, right?
you
I mean, they're
can-
not
If you're a resident, you can vote, I think.
Locally, not federally.
Maybe.
You can vote in like council.
Either way, the people coming over the border, this is a great replacement fringe.
Yes, yeah.
That this narrative comes from.
Yeah, of
they
course.
try to say it's not great replacement if these people are voting left and they're coming in.
It's because you should think lowly of these people.
I think
eventually they
lowly
probably-
of anyone who goes to an actual political event for a primary party,
Yeah.
but especially Trump supporters who actually go to this, you know? Like the person who doesn't pay attention to any politics and just votes Trump because, like, you know, zeitgeist, general mimetic zeitgeist, not because they like know anything or hate trans people or stuff.
Yeah.
They just think Biden's more communist or something.
Yeah, because they watch too much news.
No, they don't watch any news, is what I'm saying. These people.
I'll be back.
Will, and
well,
I just think the extra congressional seats for the Democrats is what they're after.
Is the border an important issue to you?
Very much so. Very much so.
Would you be supportive of a bill that gave the president the authority to close different border crossings at will when the surge got too high?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
So Donald Trump just urged people in his own party in Congress to oppose such a bill. How did you feel about that?
I can't comment on that. I'm not sure. You know, I'm not gonna comment on something I don't know about.
Is the border an important issue for you?
Oh, 110%. I think there's been a lot of crime driven from the border and the infrastructure from there, and I don't think that it's helping the American people. And that's what I care about in my eyes is the Americans. We're giving money to immigrants that are coming over here for a free $10,000.
Would you support a bill that gave the president the authority to close border crossings at his or her whim whenever there was a surge in migration?
Oh, 110%.
So were you sad when Donald Trump went and told people in Congress that they shouldn't support a bill that had that as a provision? That was the most recent immigration bill.
I don't support it. I think that he should have the authority to do such. But there's a lot of legality behind that, and I understand Donald Trump is trying to protect his back and what happens with him.
Is immigration an important issue too?
It is now.
And why is that? Why do you say it like that?
Oh, those couple of million that came in illegally.
And what do you what is it about them, and what is it about immigration that gives you pause?
I would just prefer that the people that come into our country do it legally. We don't know anything about them. If I go to another country, I have to provide all kinds of
When we were talking earlier, when
You
he
got a
said he would support
bung-ass
that
eye.
bill, he urged members of Congress to not support such a bill. What would you say to Trump about that?
You pretty much have to do what Texas is doing. You have to
Look
make
at
it-
this
make it
guy's
fine
mutton
to
chop.
enforce it by the states because what happens is when
Yeah.
different parties come in, they don't enforce certain things, you know. So you need to have.
You did not expect that voice to come out of that dude.
No. That is almost as bad as the news host with the shit facial hair. That's almost as bad.
I think his voice is worse than the facial hair.
But it's
Like he's literally just taken a shaver and gone whoop whoop. That's it. What a doofus.
the Texas
Hey,
is a
check
state
out
and it's a
this
federal law, so you still support
Parks
Texas
Service meme.
overriding the.
It says, "Park support. Have you tried unplugging and going outdoors? National Day of Unplugging."
That's hilarious.
The government is literally telling you to touch grass.
Yeah, it's just like
That's another
illegal,
thing.
like
Let me
legally,
tell you,
like, you know,
well,
right,
why
but morally,
is
like
America great are national parks. Okay, you can get all right. It's literally for most of the national parks. You get like if you want to do a one-time admission to the park, they'll give you a one-time ticket. But any type of extended ticket, they basically make it so you have a year's access to all national parks.
That's cool.
So they basically try to that's one of the ways they try to maintain them is to basically get you into a subscription like this where you keep refunding your year's membership up to the all national parks. But you know, like the fact is that if you're a tourist and you're coming and maybe you have more limited budget and stuff like that, you still have to plan for cars like coming to America. You're not gonna like you're gonna have to get a car and have car transportation to do any of this. But
Yeah.
you can literally do a national park thing to have a new national park like every day or every other day. And it's super affordable. Or if you're just a
That's what people
weirdo,
want.
national park.
like actually a lot more people think that if you could just literally just shoot people at the border, like they wouldn't come anymore. If you put alligators out there or snakes in the water.
Would we want to be a country that shot people who came across the border then?
Yeah, I mean.
Oh my
because
God.
you can't just let everyone overrun the country. Just
Psycho.
So the whole boat crashes. Tips over and sinks. You want to only let in a certain amount, and you want to marry. You don't want, and you want to scream too. You don't want just people to walk in by foot. You want them to come by airplanes. You want them to come by trains. You want to screen them. You don't know who they are before they come in.
So once in a while, if you shot some, you think it would scare people from coming?
And like, why do people think that we have to be the country that lets everyone in? Like everyone's under this like brainwashing that you have to let everyone in, or you're a mean person or something.
Well, we were a country of immigrants, right?
I mean, you can go back to like ancient Rome, the same thing. They let in too many people from around
I'm just talking about our country was founded on principles about give us your tired, you're poor, you're hungry.
But we didn't have.
That was not.
They weren't getting food stamps. They weren't
No.
getting supported by the government.
That was the
they
Statue
were on
of
their own when they
Liberty.
came here.
And it's written by a homo anarchist named Lazarus. It has nothing to do with our founding principles.
If
The fact
if they
is
did that
we're
now,
a
people
nation
would
of
like
immigrants,
respect.
though. He do a run.
Other mass shooting to report. This one in Indianapolis, where
Uh-huh.
several
Mass
children
shooting.
and teens were injured. Police say they heard gunshots while on patrol around 11 last night. They found 6 minors between the ages of 12 and 17. That
Oh,
had
I know it is.
consistent with gunshot wounds. One victim sent to the
That's
hospital
because
in
like
critical condition. The other 5 in stable condition. A 7th victim, also injured, is in
Rome did not care about these things.
Yeah. No mass shooting?
Yeah, mass shooting. It's a crime shooting.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, multiple minors shot outside mall. It's a crime
Okay.
shooting.
Hmm.
There's a few shootings though.
Yeah, I'm doing those before I'm moving on.
Police in Nashville,
This is a
Tennessee,
wild one.
are investigating a deadly shooting at an Easter brunch. One man was killed. 5 other people were hurt at this coffee shop. Police sharing pictures of the suspect. They say he opened fire after getting into an altercation with another
He
man.
looks so calm.
They're now working to identify and arrest him.
Yeah, look at his stance too.
Subscribe.
You know? That's like this is like the fire competition stance when they do it like this.
Yeah. Oh shit.
The thing is we used to have rail. This is actually one of those things that the market decided here. So and sure, I'm sure there was like heavy-handedness on the scale to benefit car companies and oil companies and things like that. But ultimately, people preferred to have their cars over taking trains, and the government responded and funded highways instead of rail lines. But like I said, I'm sure lobbies and car companies also have something to do with this. Nothing's exactly fair in this country, but Americans chose. They like cars. They like roads. They like pollution.
And we're on the northern half of this latest closure along Highway 1.
Oh, this is so
just
wild.
north of the Rocky Creek
Highway,
Bridge.
have
That's
you
what
been on
helps
Highway
connect
1? Did you go to
Carmel
California?
Big Sur. Right next to us, you see
Yeah.
what looks like a
Which one's Highway 1?
It's the one that rides the coastline where you're basically on a cliffside the whole way. It's like, you know, they open a lot of movies with it, like Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah,
uses this.
I went to the beach and basically that was it. That's the only part of it.
It like goes
right?
all the way up to California or San Francisco and stuff. It's a really nice road.
convoy, essentially a line of people waiting to see if they can get back into this direction here. That's been kind of what Caltrans and CHP have kind of situated twice a day at 8 o'clock a.m. and 4 o'clock p.m. They allow cars to go through for an hour at a time.
What
It's
the
8
fuck?
a.m. will be the first window. They're letting the folks who are on the south side of the closure here, those people who are essentially stuck, they'll let them get out first. And then once they clear that line of cars, they'll move through this line of cars here, which we see probably about 50 cars in this line right now. Here's what happened. Here's the problem. Part of the highway here along Highway 1 washed away over the weekend. Nearly
Holy
half of the
shit.
southbound lane is now gone, and cars simply cannot pass through safely. But the problem is a much bigger deal for people who were south of that point. About 20 miles further down, there's already construction for another part of the highway that washed off. So at one point, there were
Fuck
about
no.
1,600 people stuck in that 20-mile stretch. One couple I spoke to tells me they came to this area camping over the weekend. They're coming here from Ventura. They got separated from their campground and gear when they drove out for a hike, and they couldn't leave when they planned to last night.
Luckily, we have flexible jobs. We were able to, just let them know that we kind of had a minor emergency
We're
situation.
Uber drivers.
Yeah, we're able to.
We're
take the time.
DoorDashers.
Not the worst place to be stuck.
No, we did say that, and we're very lucky that we
Oh
could
my
get all of our
God,
stuff back.
these couples
and
that look
we're happy and
exactly like
healthy and
each
safe.
other have got to go.
Yeah.
So crews are organizing those convoys to get people home again at 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. Those are the
Thumb
two
on the
windows where
scale. They were
roads will open for
propagandized.
about an
Bitch,
hour, and
how do
anyone
you
who
know?
works, lives, or just needs to get home can do that in that time. In the meantime,
Don't talk to
Big
me
Sur tourist officials are
about
telling all of
propaganda. No,
us to
seriously,
stay
it
away
probably
from
is
Big
that,
Sur
though.
until notice. It is not open for the public right now. Several state parks in the area are entirely closed, and at this point, there is still no telling how soon Highway 1 will reopen. We're live this morning on the Monterey Coast. I'm James Torres, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Republicans taking aim at President Biden for honoring Transgender Day of Visibility. It's marked on March.
Okay, I think we're done with the US.
Havana syndrome.
Yes. There's 2 videos.
There's more than that because there's older videos as well.
I'll refresh it.
Yeah, just
Is it in a different playlist?
no. Oh, that might also be in a different place, but the US playlist, if you search Havana.
Yeah, there's only 2.
Also, well then fine, do those 2, but also the PBS stuff has a different thing. There's other stuff in there. I'm just not sure where. I might have deleted it because we didn't cover it and it was a while ago.
For the last
there's
decade,
also
American
this one.
diplomatic law enforcement
Hang on, I'll send you ones that don't have Havana in the title.
and intelligence personnel have suffered grievous, often life-altering injuries in the line of duty. No guns or bombs or rockets were involved. Many say they felt attacked by sound. That's debilitating waves of sound and pressure that have left them with traumatic brain injuries, vertigo, and other physical ailments grouped under the government designation of anomalous health incidents. You may know it by a different name, Havana syndrome. Last evening, CBS News 60 Minutes
PBS.
reported more on this story and assigned blame to a foreign adversary of the U.S., Russia. For perspective, let's bring in retired Army Lieutenant Colonel Gregory Ed Green. He ran an investigation at the Defense Intelligence Agency about the sources of Havana syndrome. He's now the founder and CEO of Advanced Echelon. That's an organization that takes care of Havana syndrome survivors and their families and works to pursue those responsible for the attacks. Thank you for being with us.
Isn't it
You have said that you
psychosomatic?
are confident that Russia is behind these attacks.
According to the new report, no.
Interesting.
What informs that confidence?
I just went off of a large body of open source reporting. You can go to The Insider. They put out a great piece recently, along with Der Spiegel. There's a lot of arrows pointing to Moscow right now. And I suggest you guys talk to some of the survivors because they'll give you some very key insights.
You mean the CIA agents?
We're working on. It all paints a very clear picture to the layperson about who could be responsible for this.
You ran the military investigation into Havana syndrome. You told 60 Minutes that the bar for proof was set impossibly high. Tell me more about that. What was the bar of proof? And what was the motivation behind elevating it, in your view?
Yeah, Jeff, so I can't get into specifics based on classification levels.
Oh my God,
what I can
this
tell you
bullshit.
is that from my perspective, things
From
and
my
requirements
perspective.
from higher levels of the government seem to change quickly. And you'd have to contact those officials still inside the government to figure out why they were changing certain requirements for the intelligence community. But I can tell you that this problem is not going to get better with time. We need to address it head on. And most importantly, we need to start taking care of the Havana syndrome survivors and their families. It's about time to take action.
Oh my
And that
God.
time is now.
As we mentioned, you retired
They're
from the Army
literal
to start a
spies
company
for
that
the
helps
US
the
government
Havana
who are
syndrome
saying this
survivors. I
happened.
imagine every case is different, but generally speaking, how are they faring, the folks that you work with?
They're not doing well. They continue to see government products such as the recent NIH reports or intelligence community assessments that basically gaslight them and tell them that their problems don't exist. But we've been here before. This happened with the Moscow signal for decades. This has happened with PTSD. This has also happened with Agent Orange. We need to start
Oh
taking
my
care of
God,
people that
bro.
signed up
He
to
didn't
protect
bring up
America
fucking
and America's values
Gulf
and their
War
interests
syndrome.
abroad. Because if we
Yeah,
don't,
of course
America's
not.
eyes are
Well,
going to be
because nobody
blinded and
knows
our
what
ears
that
deafened
is.
in every embassy across the globe.
Our Nick Schifrin reached out to the Office of the Director of National Intelligence for a response in regards to this reporting by 60 Minutes, and they directed reporters to previous remarks by Director Avril Haines, part of which read this way. Most IC, or intelligence community elements, now have concluded that it is very unlikely that a foreign adversary is responsible for the reported AHIs, anomalous health incidents. And there are different degrees of confidence associated with that. At the same time, we are going to be
They gotta
continue to be
make a
vigilant
fucking
about looking for
acronym for
information that
everything, huh?
undercuts those assumptions. What's your reaction to that statement?
I would ask whoever wrote that statement to watch the 60 Minutes episode and to read the insider's recent reporting on it. It paints a very clear picture to most Americans, and it also lists some clear evidence that's been uncovered with open source reporting.
Do you believe the federal government is covering this up?
I won't get into discussions of
Oh
cover-ups
my
and
God,
conspiracies,
bro.
but what I will say is that hundreds of families have been impacted, and this is also affecting our national security. It needs to be addressed.
So one of the survivors who spoke to 60 Minutes, she's an FBI agent who was identified as Carrie. She referred to this attack as being the result of next generation weaponry. And she said that she and the other survivors, she viewed them as being test subjects. And yet, as I understand it, the federal government has not been able to pinpoint or replicate whatever this weapon is. Can you help us understand more about that?
I believe what the survivor was referring to was a directed energy weapon. And I imagine after this 60 Minutes episode aired and recent insider reporting, there's going to be an avalanche of FOIA requests to uncover what the government knows and research that it's done on this, what countries are using these technologies. But one might just go to Google and search for directed energy weapons in Russian and see what comes up. There's plenty of examples of President.
Oh my God,
pinning on
dude,
medals
that's
and,
so fucked.
various
The
awards to
directed,
Russian
so
scientists in the
this
field
is
of
a
directed
big
energy
5G conspiracy. The directed energy weapon. If you
Yes,
start
yes.
searching things from directed energy weapons from this guy, it's going to put you down a 5G rabbit hole.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Bad intelligence apparatchik. Bad boy.
Look at the comments that he
That's
made in
what
September about
they declared
fielding
it to
more
be,
directed energy
is
weapons.
mass
and also
hysteria.
look at the national security advisor in Moscow, what he said in the Razvedki article in September of 2023 about how Moscow has successfully
because you're
removed
convinced
hundreds
it's
of
true.
U.S. intelligence officers from the field in the past decade. I'd like to know more about that.
That is retired Army Lieutenant Colonel Gregory Ed Green. Thanks for your insights and thanks for your time this evening.
Thanks for your time, idiot. Thanks for your time, dickbag.
It doesn't matter if 60 Minutes claims us because we're not monetized.
We have important developments in our
Yeah, as long as they
5-year
don't strike it.
investigation.
Yeah. We'll just have to pause and talk.
Of mysterious brain injuries reported by U.S. national security officials. The injured include White House staff, CIA
White
officers,
House.
FBI agents, military officers, and their families. Many believe that they were wounded by a secret weapon that fires a high-energy beam of microwaves or ultrasound. This is our fourth story, and for the first time, we have evidence of who might be responsible.
Nice.
Most of the injured have fought for America, often in secret, and they're frustrated that the U.S. government publicly doubts that an adversary is targeting Americans.
Why would the government doubt the CIA? When has the CIA ever lied to the government?
Yeah, when has that ever happened? Especially around Cuba.
One of them is Carrie. We're disguising her and not using her last name because she's still an FBI agent working in counterintelligence. She says in 2021, she was home in Florida when she was hit.
When they say disguised her, when they mean they put a wig on her.
Yeah.
There's this funny
some
one
makeup.
that they do where they talk to a SEAL team guy about the death of Osama bin Laden, and they put the worst fake beard on him. It's so
that's
funny.
By a crippling force.
And bam, inside my right ear, it was like a dentist drilling on steroids. That feeling when it gets too close to your eardrum, it's like that, times 10. It was like a high-pitched metallic drilling noise, and it knocked me forward at like
CBS
a 45.
video. It's not available
in your country.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's only a minute long, so that's fine.
Degree angle this way.
She says she was by a window in her laundry room.
My right ear was line of sight to that window while this thing was happening in my ear. And when I leaned forward, it didn't knock me over, but it knocked me forward. I immediately felt pressure, and pain started coursing
Sounds like a woman
inside my
problem.
right ear,
Sure it
down
wasn't
my jaw,
period?
down my neck, and into my chest.
Sounds like menopause.
It sounds like menopause.
We are news. We are news.
I'm gonna find this video with this.
I didn't see only news.
At the same time, FBI agent Carrie told us the battery in her phone began to swell until it broke the case. Finally, she passed out on a couch. Because of chest pain, she was
Convenient.
checked by a cardiologist and then returned to duty.
And I remember
Goody.
complaining to my colleagues for months after that. I felt like I had early Alzheimer's. Short-term memory, long-term memory, confusing memories, multitasking. My baseline changed. I was not the same person.
Carrie's story matches those we've uncovered over the years.
It was like this piercing feeling on the side of my head. It was like, I remember it was on the right side of my head, and I got like vertigo.
Olivia Troy was Homeland Security Advisor to Vice President Mike Pence. In our 2022 report, she told us she was hit outside the White House.
And then severe ear pain started. So I liken it to if you put a Q-tip too far and you bounce off your eardrum. Well, imagine taking a sharp pencil and just kind of poking that.
And this man told us he was among the first publicly known cases in 2016.
It might not
from
be the Bin Laden raid that I'm thinking of. It might have been a different type of operation where they have this guy put a beard on. But I'm trying to think, what operation could it possibly be?
Not sure.
our embassy in Cuba. That's how the incidents became known as Havana syndrome. He's medically retired from an agency we can't name, blind in one eye and struggling for balance.
What we're hearing about now is
A major medical study.
That means he tortured people in Guantanamo.
I literally have the image of this guy's beard in my head and how funny it is.
Study for the government was led by Dr. David Railman of Stanford University. In our 2022 report, he told us,
what we found was, we thought, clear evidence of an injury to the auditory and vestibular system of the brain. Everything starting with the inner ear, where humans perceive.
Huh?
I said, okay, Poindexter.
Sound
You two gotta
and
calm down.
sense balance, and then translate those perceptions into brain electrical signals.
Brain
his
electrical.
study found directed
I
pulse
think you're making up
radio
words.
frequency energy appears to be the most plausible mechanism. For example, a focused beam of microwaves or acoustic ultrasound. More than 100 officials or family members have unexplained, persistent symptoms.
If I turn too fast, my gyroscope is off, essentially. It's like a step behind where I'm
You don't
supposed to
have
be.
a
So I'll turn
gyroscope?
too fast and I will literally walk right into the wall or the door frame.
Sure you do.
Now, for the first time, the case of FBI agent Carey suggests which
Why aren't you
adversary
walking
might be
into a trade?
responsible. She spoke with the FBI's permission, but wasn't
Yeah,
allowed to
Gary
discuss
got a
the
little,
cases
Gary
she was
got
on
a
when she
little
was
drinky
hit.
problem, maybe? You got a little drinky problem, Gary?
We have learned from other sources,
Do a little
one of
drinking?
those cases involved this Mustang going 110 miles an hour.
Okay.
Pull over! Pull over!
In 2020, near Key West, Florida, deputies tried to stop the Mustang for speeding. It ran 15 miles until it hit spike strips laid in its path. A search of the car found notes of bank accounts.
Citibank, Discover Savings, 75,000.
And this device that looks like a walkie-talkie can erase the car's computer data, including its GPS record.
Lol.
There was also a Russian passport.
What's your first name? Vitaly. V-I-T-A-L-I-I.
Vitaly Kovalev was the driver from St. Petersburg, Russia, not Florida.
Why did you run? Let me be honest with you.
I don't know.
You don't know why you ran?
I don't know.
And we don't know why he ran, but what we learned suggests he was a Russian spy.
Cool.
What we see here is Vitaly Kovalev fitting exactly this formula.
Christo Grozev is a journalist legendary for unmasking Russian plots.
This is awesome.
In 2020, he uncovered the names of the Russian secret agents who poisoned Vladimir Putin's rival, Alexei Navalny.
No shit.
Grozev is lead investigator for our collaborator on this story, The Insider, a magazine by Russian exiles. We asked him to trace Vitaly Kovalev.
He studied in a military institute. He studied radio electronics with a particular focus on use within the military of microelectronics. He had all the technology know-how that would be required for somebody to be assisting an operation that requires high technology. And then all of a sudden, after working for 2 years in a military institute, he up and decides to become a chef.
Kovalev immigrated to the U.S. and worked as a chef in New York and Washington, D.C., even appearing at far left in a TV cooking segment.
Traditional Russian recipes, thanks to our wonderful chef.
But Kovalev was actually a Russian military electrical engineer with a top secret security clearance. Can someone
hilarious.
like Kovalev simply decide to drop all of that and become a chef?
It is not an easy job to just leave that behind. Once you're in the military and you've been trained and the Ministry of Defense is invested in you, you remain at their beck and call for the rest of your life.
We don't know what Kovalev was up to, but our sources say over months, he spent 80 hours being interviewed by FBI agent Kerry,
okay,
who had investigated multiple
it wasn't
Russian
the
spies.
raid on bin Laden. It was earlier when he was in the mountains, right?
Okay.
And I can tell I found the beard just from the thumbnail alone. So I checked my archives, wasn't there. I said, I'm just going to do a generic search, hunting bin Laden. Boom, third result. There's that beard. Look at this glorious beard right here. We hid his identity.
Commander break his silence after 7 years.
And we knew
Wrong. And tonight, he wants to set the record straight.
our job was to go find him, capture, kill him, and we knew the writing on the wall was really to kill him. No one wanted to bring Osama bin Laden back to stand trial in the United States somewhere.
In 2001,
Isn't that such a like
formations to create the man you see now. He calls himself.
Oh, that's awesome. So they made a face mold and put fake beard on it. Okay.
Yeah, they're trying to make it
We
seem
hired
like,
a theatrical
they're trying to make it seem like he did way more to transform him
makeup
than they
artist
do.
to take the former Delta officer through a series.
They made him a disguisee.
Mm-hmm.
He's the author of Kill Bin Laden, a new book out this week. Dalton Fury is used to.
Dalton Fury is what his code name is here. He's like, yeah, I'm Dalton Fury. I love this though. Just like them getting a picture of the guy with like shit all over his face and stuff. Here's him with the Afghans.
Kovalev
I'm going to be
pled
honest.
guilty
Maybe they're
to
onto
evading
something.
police and reckless driving. He was sentenced to 30 months. While he was in jail, Kerry says she was hit in Florida, and a year later when she awoke to the same symptoms in the middle of the night in California.
A little
It felt
drinky.
like I was stuck in this state of like
Yeah, it certainly sounds like she's just drunk.
disorientation, not able to
face been
function.
falling
What is
around.
happening? And my whole body was pulsing.
Yep, sounds like drunk.
Mark Zaid is Kerry's attorney. He has a security clearance and for decades has represented Americans working in national security. Zaid has more than 24 clients suffering symptoms of Havana syndrome, which the government now calls anomalous health incidents.
I have CIA and State Department clients as well who believe they've been impacted domestically. There are dozens of CIA cases that have happened
And you know, this
domestically.
is just like
that
how
is at
Gulf
least
War
believed.
syndrome was.
And we're not even
You
just
know?
talking.
They kept on finding these symptoms, nothing, and then finally they figured out, oh, it's the American government that did it.
Yeah. So that's what it'll eventually get to. Right now, it's Russian agents that are doing it, but we'll eventually find out what actually
Well,
did
because they found one spy who had
it.
equipment for surveillance.
Yeah, and a technological based background, and they're like, this guy is causing Havana syndrome. We got it. It's this guy, him specifically. He's got a teleporter, a magic Russian teleporter. He uses the tunnels.
He has the
hollow
sorting
earth.
hat in here, and once you believe it, he got the Slytherin sword out of it.
And he uses the tunnels of the hollow earth to travel from coast to coast, hitting FBI agents and CIA analysts and all this shit. Just one guy nailed it.
About physical manifestation. We're talking about evidence of
Well, in
computer
theory,
issues
there's more than
in
one.
the midst of the incident.
Everybody hated that you called it the Slytherin sword.
The Slytherin sword? Yeah, he didn't get the Gryffindor sword out of it. It was the Slytherin sword. Does Slytherin not have
Their
a
computer
sword? I
screens
thought
just-
all the
I'm
houses had
actually-
swords that the
I'm
Sorting
actually
Hat
not
could give
sure.
you.
I'm actually not sure. I'm pretty sure it's just
I
the
hate
Godric
copyright. I
Gryffindor
hate
sword.
copyright laws. Oh, it ended. They snagged us on 60 minutes. There you go.
Ah, seriously.
That's why they're saying no.
Literally
Yep, stream
stop.
unavailable. Suspended due to policy violations. I told you.
Mm.
Just remake it. Let's see if it gave us a strike.